Everybody don't say no more.
Shalom, y'all. Everybody, shalom to the worldwide family. Anybody else listening near and far? We like to just say, happy Sabbath. Y'all know how we do it. We face toward Holy Jerusalem as it is in the instruction manual. 1 Kings 8 chapter, Daniel chapter 6, verse 10, the book of Jonah. So we turn toward Holy Jerusalem. We're not praying to any rock or any building. We're just praying toward where the law comes forth, as mentioned in Isaiah 2nd chapter. Also, 1 Corinthians 11 chapter, Numbers 30th chapter, men uncover their head when praying or prophesying within the assembly, and women cover their head when praying or prophesying within the assembly. We also go by 1 Tim chapter 2, verse 8. We hold our hands up high, as well as 1 Kings 8 chapter, that we ask the Most High to lift us up today, y'all, that we may get some understanding.
That's right. All right, we're going to get this opening prayer with the Most High's permission, in the name of His only beloved and begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahawashi HaMashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ. Long live the King! Long live the King! Reading in the book of Psalms, the 43rd chapter, and it reads, "Judge me, O Yah, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. O deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man. For thou art the Elohim of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? Oh, send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me unto the holy hill.
That's right.
And to thy tabernacle. Then will I go unto the altar of Yahweh. Unto Yahweh, my exceeding joy. Yea, upon the heart will I praise thee, O Yah, my power. Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why art thou disquieted within me? Hope in Yah, for I shall yet praise him, who is the health of my countenance and my Elohim. Hallelujah! Selah!
Amen.
Everybody just gave me amen. You just agreed to come up here and get in your pockets. So in front of me. Everybody just say amen. Report to the front and run. Because you just agreed that no matter what I say, you just agree to it. Right? Ain't that what amen means? We all in agreement? Ain't that what that means? Ain't that what that means? Everybody out there say amen. And I'm checking it.
Yeah, all right. I got a check for you, all right. I'm gonna check you old school style. Old school style.
Go eat egg salad and ride the bus.
So y'all understand that, right? This ain't the church tomorrow morning starting out saying, can I get an amen? If you agree to no matter what he says, he gets that confirmation out of you.
Is you begging?
You agree. You agree. You agree that no matter what I say today, we're all agreed. That's the lesson learned. Okay? That's the lesson learned. You
can't agree with a man and you ain't heard him say nothing. And you just follow right along with him. It's also respect of persons. And we know that our God is no respecter of persons, and neither should we be.
That's right.
Okay? So, there you go. Now I got it.
Yeah, make it worthy.
What we're going to do is,
Hold it down, y'all.
we're going to finish up overcoming the flesh now within. That was 2 weeks ago. So we were reading in the Lost Books of the Bible. We're in the book of Barnabas, and we're going to be reading chapters 11 through 15. That is to finish this part of the class. For time's sake, I have the book of Judges 13 through 16. We will read the story of Samson. We get right to Barnabas, depending on the time. We got 3 chapters. We can read the entire history story of Samson. Okay, so we ain't read in a while, so we can bring that out too as well. Also, I want to try to keep this as straight and narrow as I can because it's for everybody. We understand that the information age in which we live, that you may text somebody something and you will get back not the response that you thought because they what? Took it the wrong way. Exact words, reading them in this day and age can have many different meanings. So this is what I want us to keep in mind in this worldwide assembly. That as we read people's texts, you might not get their first meaning or what they mean right off. So you have to have a spiritual and carnal mindset out there. You have to also have that before you text something, that you stop and think about how what you're going to say may be perceived. So with that, what I'm saying is that we've been going a little bit in study of 2 weeks ago's understanding of the person in Europe about the gates. We are taught here and we teach here to keep reading. Sometimes you're reading something you may not understand it. But if you're not done with the story yet, you will not have a full understanding. So sometimes when you keep reading, you will come back and say, oh, that's what that means way back there, and I didn't understand. So to hear your name came right to me this morning. So what we're going to do, we're going to show that. Then we're going to finish it because where it shows that is further, because it's going to be 2 times we're going to read this today. So if we could, we're starting in chapter 11, but I need us to go to the last time before we get started. There it is. We're going to start, I want to read chapter 14, SIV, verses 1 and 2, to start out today. In the book of Barnabas, chapter 14, verses 1 and 2. And then we're going to go back to 11 and finish class. Everybody there? What page is that? It's 162. You got this one. Yeah, 162.
I can't find what I had though. I can't find what I had though.
All y'all don't have it, he's gonna get it up on the projector.
Hopefully this is the right one. No, this ain't the right one. This ain't the same one. No, this one.
You got that? Okay, anybody out there that needs to share with someone real quick? You don't have one on their phone? Wow. Well, you gonna get it up. You gonna get it up. You don't? It's, you gonna get it up.
Let's see this one. What's on it either?
On your apps, you type in the Lost Books in the Bible in the Play Store.
I know, but I can't find which one I was using the last time.
We're in the book of Barnabas. It's in the Lost Books of the Bible. You don't have it yet on your phone. You go to your Play Store where you buy your apps at and type in the Lost Books of the Bible, and then you can pick from it. Mine just looks like this. Mostly white color picture with the Bible flowers on it. I will say something about it.
Now, go ahead, let me start, man. What is all prayer to the Most High?
There you go.
All right.
So, we're going to go ahead and everybody don't have it, listen closely while you're getting it. And we're not asking you to trust us on anything. Barnabas chapter 14, verses 1 and 2. And thus, this is Barnabas talking. And thus I trust, I have declared to you as much and with as great simplicity as I could, those things which make for your salvation, so not as to have omitted anything that might be requisite thereunto. For should I speak further of the things that now are, and of those things are to come, you would not yet understand them, seeing they lie in parables. This therefore shall suffice as to these things. The reason why I say it is because I had to go back and see if I can find if there was anything we were missing ourselves is the understanding that this person was getting. And I even, looking back at the comments, I'm thinking, for me, this person is, even though I'm seeing a Hebrew name, you understand, this is what I mean about this. So, even though I'm seeing a Hebrew name, maybe it's a Gentile who took the Hebrew name. And maybe they're asking this question from a Gentile perspective. This may be why there's this understanding is being misconstrued, but I still don't know. But what I do know is that, like I say, we finish the rest of these chapters, all of that will be explained. Right. Right.
He was agreeing with his papa.
Let's pick up the class. Back in chapter 11. And you all remember, if you have not seen this class, this is Barnabas, a partner and fellow traveler of Paul. He sounds like Paul, but he also explains himself. And this class is on the spiritual level, and it always gives you what the carnal. So it's your choice. These are instructions of what do you need to make it through this life to get to the kingdom. And that's just what we've been on. He's giving you a spiritual side for those who are still striving. If you need help, if you need to get straight, that's what this is about. So we're going to pick this back up in chapter 11 and keep rolling.
We're reading in the Lost Books with the Barnabas, starting off reading in chapter 11, verse 1. And it reads, in like manner, he determines concerning the cross in another prophet, saying, and when shall these things be fulfilled? The Most High answered, when the tree that is fallen shall rot, and when blood shall drop down from the tree. Here you have again mention made, both of the cross and of him that was to be crucified upon it. And yet farther he said to Moses, when Israel was fighting with and beaten by a strange people, to the end that Yah might put them in mind how that for their sin they were delivered unto death. Yet the Holy Spirit put it into the heart of Moses to represent both the sign of the cross and of him that was to suffer, that so they might know that if they did not believe in him, they should be overcome forever.
Okay, I'm not trying to get this away, but what he said, this is like the first time we see where the sign of the cross, the mentioning of the cross that Christ was crucified on. So we're going to keep reading this and let it explain itself, but just take note of Moses and this cross. Okay, read on.
Verse 4. Moses therefore piled up armor upon armor in the middle of a rising ground, and standing up high above all of them, stretched forth his arms, and so Israel again conquered. But no sooner did he let down his hands, but they were again slain. And why so? To the end they might know that except they trust in him, they cannot be saved. And in another prophet, he said, I have stretched out my hand all the day long to a people disobedient, and speaking against my righteous way. And again, Moses makes a type of Yeshua to show that he was to die. And then that he whom they thought to be dead was to give life to others, in the type of those that fell in Israel. For Yah caused all sorts of serpents to bite them, and they died. For as much as by a serpent transgression began in Eve.
Okay, where he just started out right there, because we had stuff going on to miss it in the beginning. That's Numbers 21:7.
Verse 4.
Yeah, with Numbers 21, that chapter talks about what we're reading right now with the serpents when they bit the people.
Hey, short-legged class. All the sisters are poor, y'all. Short-legged. Be tarrying. Handle your business.
Okay, continue on. You said 7. He asked where you was.
I'm at 8.
Okay.
Verse 8.
Read 7 again, folks.
Verse 7. Daniel made mention of 5. Do we need to go back?
That was in Numbers.
Okay. Verse 7. And again, Moses makes a type of Yeshua to show that he was to die. And then that he, whom they thought to be dead, was to give life to others, in the type of those that fell in Israel. For Yah caused all sorts of serpents to bite them, and they died. For as much as by a serpent transgression began in Eve.
So right here, the Most High used the serpents for something that they would understand. They knew that it was a serpent that beguiled Eve in the garden. So he's putting this serpent back on their mind and showing them by them being bitten and dying that this serpent ain't a good thing. So that's why he used the serpent again in this instance for them to understand, because it's all about them being able to relate what's going on and the way out. Read on.
That so he might convince them that for their transgressions they shall be delivered into the pain of death.
So he's reminding them, this snake is here. This snake is your sin. And you choose to stay around serpents. And you're getting bit. So what do? Move away from what? Sin. Physically, spiritually. This serpent is this reminder of what you're doing, and you're staying in a place where you're getting bit. You're getting bit. Are you that stupid to stay there and get bit? It's your choice. Read on.
Verse 9. Moses then himself, who had commanded them, saying, Ye shall not make to yourselves any graven or molten image to be your God, yet now did so himself, that he might represent to them the figure of the Most High Yeshua.
Now, what he said right there, if Moses gave in the 10 Commandments to not make any gold molded images to look upon, and he did it himself, is he saying that he was wrong? Did he say that he was wrong for doing it? No, he didn't. It's because if you have to have, like we had to have a king. All the other nations had kings, and we wanted a king, had the king of all kings. The creator of those other kings. But we had to be like them. Lord, we want a king. We wanted something that we could look upon to say that represents us. That's a lack of faith.
Yes, sir.
We had to have something to look at and say, that's how we roll. So we had to make this cross with that serpent on it. And he told them, you come to this cross. This is where you get your healing. They needed a visual. Still had to have something tangible to put our hard-headed hands on. Had to have something to look on. There's no faith. There is absolutely no faith. So he had to use this as an image for them to say, that's where my dumb ass can go get my healing from, because I'm still messing with these serpents.
Yeah.
I'm too stupid to leave the serpents alone, so I gotta go where Moses said. There is a way. This is the mercy of the Most High. There is a way for us to still have a way out. If you're gonna be simplistic and simple, there's the mercy he showed you, that I'm gonna make it simplistically simple for you. Okay? Let's read.
Verse 10. For he made a brazen serpent and set it up on high, and called the people together by a proclamation, where being come, they entreated Moses that he would make an atonement for them, and pray that they might be healed. Then Moses spake unto them, saying, when any one among you shall be bitten, let him come upon the serpent let him come unto the serpent that is set upon the pole, and let him assuredly trust in him, that though he be dead, yet he is able to give life. And presently he shall be saved. And so they did. See therefore how here also you have in this the glory of Yeshua, and that in him and to him are all things.
So just like right here where we right now ourselves are rehearsing to what we're supposed to be doing in the kingdom if we make it, right? So we keep what God gave us. And this shadow of this, what we're in right now, is that we still have to practice what he gave us to do. his commandments, his statutes, his judgments, his laws, his feast days, everything that he gave us to do, we are supposed to do this. Okay? Right here, it shows that he had to give them a semblance of what was to come. This Christ is to come. This is what I say about with this cross the first time. He hung that serpent up on that cross and he said, yet though it is dead, it is able to give life. Christ died. He rose back and he does what? He gives life. Just like he had to show them to have an understanding of preschool to break it down. But this is what that was a shadow to come. This cross and this serpent then was the foreshadowing of what was to come in Christ later. So this is how you get it right. This is where he said, look to here, come to him. It's like saying now, come to Christ.
Right.
We have Christ now. We don't have a serpent on a cross. We have Christ now.
That's right.
So we go to Christ, none other. To him to get to his Father. All right, read on.
Verse 12. Again, what says Moses to Yeshua, the son of Nun?
Right here, we see this. We know when we learn the Old Testament being written in Hebrew and the New Testament written in Greek. But as we learn and study, we find out that Jesus, as the pronunciation of it in the Greek, in the Hebrew is pronounced Joshua.
Yes, sir.
So now you see right here, it says, again, what says Moses to Jesus, who? The son of who?
Nun.
It ain't the son of God. It's the son of Nun.
Right.
Moses gave him this name. We know what that name means. We know what it means. Moses gave it to him for that reason. Let's read on.
Again, what says Moses to Yeshua, the son of Nun, when he gave that name unto him?
See that?
As being a prophet, that all the people might hear him alone.
We know that
Jesus, the son of
Let
Nun.
me get it out, y'all. We know that Joshua took over from Moses when it was Moses' time to die. The Most High told Moses, your time is up. Everything you got, we're going to transfer on that to Joshua, and he's going to take over for you and lead the children, right? So this is that transformation. Read on.
Because the Father did manifest all things concerning his son, Yeshua, and Yeshua, the son of Nun.
See that? He manifested all things. He not made him like his son, but it's just a representative for this time.
Yes, sir.
It was for this time, in our people's time, in our history. When he rose up, what's he do? He raises up someone else to continue on, because people die off now, right? And his word continues. So in all the different generations, he has to raise up someone else that though his word may go forth. So keep reading.
And gave him that name when he sent him to spy out the land of Canaan. He said, take a book in thine hands and write what the master said, for as much as Yeshua, the son of Yah, shall in the last days cut off by the roots all the house of Amalek. See here again, Yeshua, not the son of man, but the son of Yah,
Distinction.
made manifest in a type and in the flesh.
Yes, sir.
So he did both. They saying this, the one, the son of God, not this one. This one here was only in the flesh.
Right.
This other one was in the flesh and the spirit. Okay, read on.
But because it might hereafter be said that a Mashiach was the son of David, therefore David, fearing and well knowing the errors of the wicked, saith, the master saith unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Psalm 51.
And again, Isaiah speaketh on this wise. The master said unto Hamashiach, my Lord, I have laid hold on his right hand, and the nation should obey before him. And I will break the strength of kings. Behold, how doth David and Isaiah call him Lord and the Son of Yah.
All right. Who's it on? Y'all doing one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay.
You take it, so you got the book.
You reading with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, let him get one. Yeah, get him first.
Right here.
Oh, it's good.
Now the blind shall see.
It is somebody on the moon. Need some good ones. You got some extras?
Stop playing.
That's all good, bro.
These old men and these readers. Oh, these old men and these readers.
All right, here we go. But let us go yet further, and inquire whether this people be the higher or the
There.
former,
The heir or the former.
there or the former, and whether the covenant be with us or with them.
Okay, so look right here. I'm not going to explain this yet, but he's asking, read that again. The heir
Or the former, and whether the covenant be with us or with them.
So the heir is the descendant who gets the final rewards of someone in the past, right? An inheritance.
That's right.
So what it's saying is that is this covenant with the ones in the former or the heirs? Now ponder that for a second. It's formers. They're making a distinction between two people here. Well, let's read and see who they are.
And first, as concerning the people, hear now what the scripture said. Isaac prayed for his wife Rebekah because she was barren, and she conceived. Afterwards, Rebekah went forward to inquire of the master. And the master said unto her, there are two nations in thy womb, and two people shall come from thy body, and the one shall have power over the other, and the greater shall serve the lesser.
One time. Keep reading.
Understand, here who was Isaac, who Rebekah, and of whom it was foretold. This people shall be greater than that. And in another prophecy, Jacob speaketh more clearly to his son Joseph, saying, behold, the master have not deprived me of seeing thy face. Bring me thy son, that I may bless them. And he brought unto his father Manasseh and Ephraim, desiring that he should bless Manasseh because he was the elder.
Okay, now look at here. What we get ready to read, when I put up this the first time, here come the second one. But it came within the same father, son, son. I'll explain it in just 1 second, but it came in the same father, son, son. Grandfather, father, grandson. Read this. I'll explain this real quick. Go ahead.
Therefore, Joseph brought him to the right hand of his father Jacob. But Jacob, by the Spirit, foresaw the figure of the people that was to come. Verse 7. And what said the scripture? And Jacob crossed his hands and put his right hand upon Ephraim, his second, and the younger son, and blessed him. And Joseph said unto Jacob, put thy right hand upon the head of Manasseh, for he is my firstborn son. And Jacob said unto Joseph, I know it, my son, I know it, but the greater shall serve the lesser, though he also be blessed.
Now check this out.
I'm gonna try to say this right the first time. Isaac had Jacob and Esau. What was the prophecy? The elder would serve the younger. Jacob has his 12, right? His second youngest, Joseph, he takes back to his father to get that, what? Same blessing he had. And what did his father do? It's just as it was with me, so it's going to be with your sons. That same flip, what I did, the same flip came back, and the elder would serve the younger. It was not a connection of the two, but it was the same prophecy because of the bloodline had to go through of that elder. That elder serving that younger didn't happen in that with them two boys, and then the next ones, and then the next ones. No, this was a prophecy, a generational prophecy, an end time prophecy. Christ has to come back for this prophecy to be fulfilled, but it still came that same fold, that your people would be greater people than his people, even though you want him to have the blessing of the firstborn. Nah, this blessing is going to go to waste. We're going to give this blessing to who it belongs to. And they said that just like him, he still got a blessing also. He didn't lose a blessing or miss a blessing. He still got blessed, but it wasn't a blessing of the firstborn child. The blessing of the firstborn child went to the second one. Let's keep reading. Y'all understand it?
Yeah, okay.
Y'all sure? Okay.
Verse 8, in law, so y'all just check out a little bit of Deuteronomy 21st chapter. It's the law. If a man have two wives or different things, his firstborn get the inheritance, or when kings pass along, you see the inheritance there. So it's in law with what he's explaining right there. So Barnabas is in line exactly how he should be. Deuteronomy 21st chapter. So, y'all read it all, it'll kind of get into what he's saying about inheritance. And also Genesis 25, the book of Jasher 25, and I believe Jubilees 20 show Abraham giving his inheritance to his sons from his three wives, Sarah, Hagar, and Keturah, which, he married after Sarah died.
Okay, verse 8, read on, bro.
Verse 8, ye see of whom he appointed, that they should be the first people and the heirs of the covenant. If therefore Yahweh shall have yet further taken notice of this by Abraham too, our understanding of it will then be perfectly established. What then said the scripture to Abraham? When he believed, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness. Behold, I have made thee a father of the nations, which without circumcision believe in the Master.
So before the law of circumcision ever was, before Abraham being the first one, he was found favorable with the Most High without being circumcised. Behold, I have made thee a father of the nations, which without circumcision believed in the Lord.
Right.
Read on.
Verse 11, let us therefore now inquire whether God has fulfilled the covenant, which he swore to our fathers, that he will give this people. Yes, verily, he gave it, but they were not worthy to receive it by reason of their sin.
So what he's asking about is like, did he fulfill that covenant that I think it might have came up last week, where the Lord say, just speculate, I'm not speculating, I'm just talking example wise. He made the covenant with Abraham, and then he made one with Isaac, and then he made one with Jacob, and then Jacob died. Did the Lord say, okay, he did, it's fulfilled, I don't have to keep that no more now that they're gone? No, that covenant was made to the descendants.
That's right.
That covenant was made to us.
That's right.
So it's still, so right where he said that, let's take a look at this and see did the Lord fulfill that covenant. No, it's not fulfilled because we still here. It's fulfilled when he come back. It's fulfilled us staying in it.
That's right.
Till he come back. That's the fulfillment of it. But that it has an ending, but then it has a new beginning. But it's what he made with us for now to have. Till then. You get this, I'm gonna give this with you and your family. Y'all stay in this. This is a covenant I'm gonna make with you and yours. You know, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel went to sleep assured that covenant was still continuing on because they was thinking about us.
That's right.
Because it was given to them for us. Let's keep reading.
Verse 12. For thus saith the prophet, and Moses continued fasting in Mount Sinai to receive the covenant of the Lord with the people 40 days and 40 nights. And he received of the Lord 2 tables written with the finger of the master's hand. In the spirit. And Moses, when he had received them, brought them down that he might deliver them to the people. And the master said unto Moses, Moses, get thee down quickly, for the people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have done wickedly. And Moses understood that they had again set up a molten image. And he cast the 2 tables out of his hands, and the tables of the covenant of the Lord were broken. Moses therefore received them, but they were not worthy. Verse 16. Now then learn how we have received them.
Okay, there again. We're looking, we're weighing the difference in time and people right here. This whole chapter is it's like a balance of the future, the past, and between 2 people. Okay, keep reading. Read that again. Or
16 again. Now then learn how we have received them. Moses, being a servant, took them, but the Lord himself has given them unto us, that we might be the people of his inheritance, having suffered for us.
So you see how it's talking about us and a time of Moses. There it is right there. It's talking about the comparison in the times of Moses and us today. Read on.
Verse 17. He was therefore made manifest that they should fill up the measure of their sins, and that we, being made heirs by him, should receive the covenant of the Master Yahshua HaMashiach.
So filling up the measure of your sins, that means get done with that. Be done with that and come on to the Messiah. Keep reading.
And again the prophet said, Behold, I have set thee for a light unto the Gentiles, to be the Savior of all the ends of the earth. Said the Master, thy heir, who hath redeemed thee, who for that very end was prepared, that by his own appearing he might redeem our hearts, already devoured by death, and delivered over to the irregularity of error, from darkness, and establish a covenant with us by his word. For so it is written, that the Father commanded him by delivering us from darkness, to prepare us unto himself a holy people.
Can you make it to class every Sabbath? Well, that's a good reading down here, boy. That boy about here, he about to put me to sleep like a
21. Wherefore the prophet said, I, the Master thy El, have called thee in righteousness, and I will take thee by the hand, and will strengthen thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the eyes of the blind, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. 22. Consider therefore from whence we have been redeemed. And again the prophet said, the Spirit of the Master is upon me, because he had anointed me. He has sent me to preach glad tidings to the lowly, to heal the broken heart, to preach remission to the captives, and sight unto the blind, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Master, and the day of restitution, to comfort all that mourn.
Okay, now, what I'm gonna try to my understanding, you all, and this is only to my understanding of how I'm gonna relate this chapter we just read. I wanted us to get through the entire chapter, and then I can go back and break this off so that we've seen it all first. I know you all can't see this, but I'm gonna explain it to you. This is just Barnabas 12. Okay? This is a timeline. No, this is the way it's written. This way.
No, I know, but
You saying this way?
yeah, so they can see the name.
You see the names. I got, and I'm pulling this from the way I thought the order would be to show this. If I'm wrong, I made a mistake, but I have Adam. Who that next?
Noah.
I got Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Daniel, the Messiah, Paul, John the Revelator, and I got us. Under Paul, I have Gentiles. If you see from Adam all the way down to John the Revelator, everybody here had Christ. Where the difference is they all saw physical evidence of him in their lives to know that he was real. So if you remember when this chapter started, it's talking about two different people. The first people are those people.
Right, the former.
We are still connected to Adam. The reason why there's a gap in this line is because we only are on faith. We have faith that we believe that his word is real, that connects us all the way back to Adam. And because of what Adam did, we are in that situation. We live in a world of sin, and we are sinners.
That's right.
We are still connected all the way to Adam. The difference between the former, all of these people knew. John the Revelator was given and shown these times in which we live, the end times. Everything they had from Abraham, the Lord talked to Abraham. Moses, look what he did with Moses. Look what he did. He showed Daniel almost the end times, but he sealed the book up to not show him that very end because it was way far off for them at that time.
Yes, sir.
So that's what he brought back with John the Revelator, to show the end. But you have here Paul, after Christ. Paul did what? Had one of the best evidences of him being here. He knocked him off that ass and blinded him for them 3 days. And Paul what? Believed. And he did what? After the Messiah, he went to who? The rest of the world, in which we are told to do. Teach the rest of the world. We supposed to already know this. So now, these are the former. So it says this covenant made to them. Let's read that. Grab that first verse, first 1 and 2 verses for me to find it for me in the very beginning of this chapter. And that is showing that comparison. See, that's why I would say I want you all to hold that in your minds and think about that. That it's only comparing the comparison of the two different people. We're the same people, but two different times. I guess you would call that two different dispensations.
Yeah, dispensation, yeah.
We are here
Years.
because we are here by faith. We believe this. These are our forefathers that did everything, that the Messiah, all these things, from Adam, everything with Adam, all the way down. But here we are. And we haven't seen these things that he showed them. He could send an angel right here, right now and say, he just wants y'all to know y'all on the right path. Keep going. And boom, be gone again. He could do that. He could do that right now, right with you. But we those different people, because we were in a different time. Let's see if I can find this with us real quick. It's already marked. I just gotta flip the page. Right here. I'm gonna read in the book of Adam and Eve, I'm only reading one verse for y'all. My second witness. LVII. That's it. It's LVI.
That's 52.
I'm a chapter. So I'm at 51. I'm at 51. And I'm gonna read verse 7.
No, that would be 57. LVII.
At least I pronounced them right to get the right number. You guessed the wrong number.
I was too busy laughing at
Yeah. Now turn around and laugh at yourself.
57.
So,
my bad.
in verse 7 and 56 now, I guess, taking his word. Acknowledge then my favors towards thee and my mercy on thee, my creature. This is the Most High talking to Adam. That I have not requited thee for thy transgressions against me, but in my pity for thee. I have promised thee that at the end of the great 5 days and a half, I will come and save thee. We know that our time is not the time of the Most High, so we know what a week and a day means to us. We'll never see a day of his.
Right.
So we know what a week and a day means to us. We know what a week means to a month, to a year, to 5 years, to 10 years, to putting 30 years in on a job. These are every days. You have to get up. Every single day you have to get up, and you have done this thing for 30 some years. And we look at the Most High saying 5.5 days. 5.5 days out of the 7. Out of the 5.5 days, he's going to get an 8th day of rest out of this, where we will be with him. But this is his time. We going through this in our time, every day, trudging on, going to work, going to work. And what we have as a reward is death. But for him, he's sitting on his throne, 5.5 days to him. You take your 5.5 days to him and put them in 5.5 days of your life.
It ain't gonna work.
That's right. It would be a week later. Be a week later. This whole thing is to him 5.5 days. But for us, it's a whole lot longer. A whole lot longer. A whole lot longer daily struggle that we all have. What you gonna do? Give up?
1,000 years.
Take a vacation? Go somewhere?
5,000.
No.
No, I'm saying it's 1,000 years. What he's saying.
1
per
day. Yeah. 1 day is 1,000.
Yeah. So 5.5 days. You
That'll be
come
5,500 years.
That would be our time as opposed to, but his time, it goes by like this week for us. But see, it's a week to him.
Right.
Understand that it's 1 week to him.
Right.
And it's a lifetime to us. And generations upon generations upon generations have been compiled since Adam to today. And we say, how long, oh Lord?
Right.
And he's 5.5 days, nigga. Hold tight. Hold tight
It always say, endure to the end.
and do it till the end. If you want this, you will.
Right. And let me just say this, bro, too, a lot of times y'all see out there, most of it though will come from, you gotta be careful because it comes from the Edomite teaching side of it. The Jews, that when they teach, they start their year around the trumpets and Day of Atonement. So you always see them, when you see some 5,783, they saying that's how long it's been since you've been kicked out of the guard. That many years, but you have to be careful because they're not starting a new year. That's a civil new year. So we have to be careful on that you don't get that mixed up with the Passover, the start of the new year. So, you know, that's a lot of time that went by because you had 7 days, and then after they sinned, you got 5 more. So the earth itself is no more than 12 to 13,000 years old. So when you're seeing things talking about, I'm talking about since always billions old. When you're seeing billion, it may be more than 1 billion years old, but as far as we're concerned as what's relating to us, it's slow, it's 12 to 13,000 years that we know this earth in our lifetime, in our being from Adam. So you can't get into outside things that you don't know about. You get tangled up into evolution then.
Bottom line, the Messiah said, no man knoweth the date or the time,
Right.
only my Father, that which is in heaven.
That's right.
But you understand that this calendar that they use, because I was supposed to ask him, because I don't look at that and use that. The only thing I know, that there you go, boy. There you go. The only thing that I think about it, though, is the fact that whether they're off on a date here or there, it's that year. It's the amount of the time of the years that that they've calculated from there to then is they're saying that this is time, it's still close. That's the thing you look at, I look at is that the fact that it's close.
Right,
It don't mean I'm gonna see it,
right,
but it just means that we're closer. Just like in Esdras, when he asked the angel in 2nd Esdras, he asked him, is there more time that has passed than that is left?
right.
And that's what he said. There's more time has gone by than there is left to run out. So that's what it is like at 5, their calendar is counting in them 5,000 years. There's 5,000 years that's done passed. And there's only a year and a half left. You know, if you can't narrow it down, but if you're looking at that, that means is there only, you got, if it's 5.5 total, he said he'd come back. 5.5, you got 6 and 7, you got 2.5 days. But don't let that be my calculation, just putting that out there like that to where it said, there's more time has expired than there is left that's coming. That means we're closer to the end. We know we were born in end times. So read on, it's on you, Danny.
Good readers. Chapter 13. Furthermore, it is written concerning the Sabbath and the 10 Commandments, which Yah spake in Mount Sinai to Moses, face to face. Sanctify the Sabbath of the Lord with pure hands and with a clean heart. And elsewhere he said, if thy children shall keep my Sabbath, then I will put my mercy upon them. And even in the beginning of creation, he makes mention of the Sabbath. And Yah made in 6 days the works of his hands. And he finished them on the 7th day. And he rested the 7th day and sanctified. Consider, my children, what that signifies. He finished them in 6 days. Somebody say, hold up.
No, he said, what verse are you?
I'm in verse 4. I'll read again. Consider, my children, what that signifies. He finished them in 6 days. The meaning of it is this, that in 6,000 years, the Lord Yah will bring all things to an end.
6,000 years.
Yes.
It's been a long time.
Cooley?
That ain't mine. That ain't mine.
Yeah, that shallow out of lane.
Heard that a while.
Yeah. For with him 1 day is as 1,000 years, as himself testified, saying, behold, this day shall be as 1,000 years. Therefore, children, in 6 days, that is, in 6,000 years, shall all things be accomplished. And what is it that he said? And he rested on the 7th day. He meaneth this, that when his son shall come and abolish the season of the wicked one, and judge the ungodly, and shall change the sun and the moon and the stars, then he shall gloriously rest in that 7th day.
So you see in there that that wicked one's time was only for a season. His time runs out. The Most High's don't. Read on.
He adds lastly, thou shalt sanctify it with clean hands and a pure heart. Wherefore we are greatly deceived if we imagine that anyone can now sanctify that day which Yah has made holy without having a heart pure in all things. Behold, therefore, he will then truly sanctify it with blessed rest, when we, having received the righteous promise, when iniquity shall be no more, all things being renewed by the Lord, shall be able to sanctify it, being ourselves first made holy.
So what that's saying right there now is that we cannot sanctify our Sabbaths and make them holy because we are, I'm not saying unholy, because we still have sin in us. We're still in this flesh. So what he said that no matter, we are supposed to still try to remember, because that's a commandment. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy.
That's right.
That is what we're supposed to do. But for truly to be sanctified, we have to be out of these unsanctified bodies.
That's right.
We have to be in that day. We have to be in that 8-day rest without this flesh, that the Sabbath can truly be done by us with him right.
That's right.
Right. For it to truly be sanctified and holy, we have to be out of this flesh in that 8th day of rest. That first day that we come in, those that make it, that 7th day, that 8th day starts it out, and you're in that rest without this body. It's the only way the Sabbath will truly be sanctified. That's what that's saying. Read on.
Lastly, he saith unto them, your new moons and your Sabbaths, I cannot bear them. Consider what he means by it. The Sabbath, says he, which ye now keep are not acceptable unto me, but those which I have made. When resting from all things, I shall begin the 8th day. That is the beginning of the other world. For which cause we observe the 8th day with gladness, and which Yeshua rose up from the dead, and having manifested himself to his disciples, ascended into heaven.
Do y'all see here, our days are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then what? It starts right over at 1. Right? So there's no such thing to us as an 8th day.
Right.
You have to be out of this realm,
That's right.
out of all of this, to get to that 8th day. But you know what? There won't be a 9th one. There won't be a 9th one. That 8th day is the last day. Eternal. Starting right off. That 8th day don't start back on the first day. It continues to that. Only one more day is needed. There's only one more day needed. That's the day to bring his people home.
That's right.
Once you home with them, it's over. Read on.
Verse 11.
What was that?
I just read puberty.
Give me some, give me some water for him, brother. Oh, yeah.
It remains yet that I speak to you concerning the temple, how these miserable men being deceived have put their trust in the house and not in Yah himself, who made them as if it were the habitation of Yah. For much after the same manner as the Gentiles, they consecrate him in the temple. But learn therefore how the Lord speaks, rendering the temple vain. Who has measured the heaven with a span, and the earth with his hand? Is it not I? Thus saith the Lord, heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. What is the house that ye will build me?
Isaiah 66. Read on.
Or what is the place of my rest? Know therefore that all their hope is in vain.
So you see how right now this is talking about this temple at this time? What place can you build me? Where can I rest? What can you do for me that I can rest in? What is there that we know who he is? He's saying, what can you do for me? You can't do nothing for me. Not like that. Not like that. Read on.
Verse 14. And again he speaketh after this manner. Behold, they that destroy this temple, even they shall again build it up. And so it came to pass, for through their wars it is now destroyed by their enemies, and their servants of their enemies built it up.
Now stop right here. Going back 2 weeks ago, Adira, this person that kept asking about the temple and the outer court and the Gentiles and the kin righteous Gentiles getting in. Now look, right here. Check this out, Daniel. Read. And so it came to pass. Back up a few.
And so it came to pass, for through their wars it is now destroyed by their enemies.
So we read in that Revelations where it said that the temple would be trodden underfoot by the Gentiles.
Yeah.
Right? So we're seeing that this temple, it said it was built and it was destroyed and it was built again and destroyed. That's at a particular time.
Right.
Because as soon as this next part of this sentence takes you to a different time, it takes you to Isaiah 60, which we read 2 weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
Read it again and read through.
Isaiah 60.
Barnabas, 14th verse again. And again he speaketh after this manner. Behold, they that destroy this temple,
One temple destroyed.
even they shall again build it up.
It was rebuilt.
And so it came to pass, for through their wars it is now destroyed by their enemies.
So is there a temple standing today? No, there is not. It was destroyed. Okay? Read on.
And the servants of their enemies built it up.
Now, it says, it did, hold on. This is even, read that past part again, Daniel.
And so it came to pass, for through their wars it is now destroyed by their enemies, and the servants of their enemies built it up.
So at a time, when you see that Isaiah 60, and this, see, between enemies and this semicolon here, and the word and, its history has changed in between there. It doesn't give you a preview of this third temple, the Messiah's temple, the Lord's temple. It don't give you a preview of it, only to say, and their enemies are going to build this one. That's where the Isaiah 60 is. It says when the servants of their enemies, which are the enemies of us, God's people, they're the ones that's going to rebuild this temple. Go ahead.
So are they in the midst of building the third one, right?
The second, I mean, it will be the third, no, because there's only two temples. The third, the one that the Messiah,
Right.
as the one, that's when the one that's coming down, that's the temple of the Lord for his people. Then the one they're building now will be destroyed again, because that's the one that the Antichrist has to sit in.
Right.
There has to be a temple built for him to sit in, to be able to proclaim to the world that he is God.
Yes, sir.
Ain't that the last sentence? The servants of their enemies built it up.
That's not this temple, though.
That's not the one the king built.
There was the temple for the
That was
Most High,
already gone.
and then there's, we'll say, the devil's temple is coming. Okay, so the devil has to mirror the Most High, get him a temple built, and then it's going to be destroyed. And then the new one is the one that comes out, the new city in New Jerusalem in Revelation, and it descended down.
Yes, sir.
That's the one that's for him, for us, those who make it.
I was confusing one where, the king that you go back and build.
Right, that was the entire with when Clement, he sent them back to build that temple. Yeah, because it was destroyed then at that time, but it was still ours. Right. Right. So now you see that right there in that sentence, in that paragraph, we're talking about different times.
Yeah.
Past, future, and the kingdom time. But the way you see it's broken down is the wording in it that gives you the indication. Y'all, when this happened, it was that time. When this happened, it's that time.
Right.
But when this time comes, when the enemies of their servants build that, there's a whole lot that takes place to make that happen. And the only thing that happens is when the Messiah come back for you to have your enemy serving you. That's going to build this temple. Read on.
Verse 15. Furthermore, it has been made manifest how both the city and the temple and the people of Israel should be given up. For the scripture said, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the Lord will deliver up the sheep of his pasture and their fold and their tower into destruction. And it shall come to pass as the Lord has spoken. Let us inquire therefore whether there be any temple of Yah. Yes, there is. And that there were himself declared that he will both make and perfect it. For it is written, and it shall be that as soon as the week shall be completed, the temple of the Lord shall be gloriously built in the name of the Lord. I find therefore that there is a temple. But how shall it be built in the name of the Lord? I will show you.
See that? He answered.
Before that we believed in Yah, the habitation of our heart was corrupt and feeble as a temple truly built with hands. For it was a house full of idolatry, a house full of devils, insomuch as there was done in it whatsoever was contrary unto Yah.
So we see right there, it was a house of devils, and he went on to add that it was contrary unto the Lord. So it became a devil's temple. You can't get no further away from God but to be with the devil himself, right?
Yes.
And we see that this devil practices was going on in where? The temple. So is it about a building?
No.
Huh? Right, it's about your temple. You want to let the devil in? Right on, sister. Right on, sister. Right on, sister. No.
Well, if it is, let them hit that Acts 17:24.
Acts 17:24.
And Acts 7:48. Hit Acts 7:48 first, then Acts 17:24. Just pop them off really quickly. So it'll lead into this information what you're saying, brother.
17:24.
Yeah. Acts 7:48.
I got that for you. Acts chapter 7, verse 48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as says the prophet. Keep on.
Yeah, you just
hold on. I just wanted to hit that point. You don't dwell in temples made with hands. Go ahead. 17:24.
I got
Let me have one. Can I, please? I'm gonna keep reading yours. Because it says, Acts 7:47, when he just read
yeah,
48,
so keep reading.
it said, but Solomon built him an house.
That's right.
Is how it starts out. It says, howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet, heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith the Lord? Or what is the place of my rest? Hath not my hands made all these things? This is the key right here. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears. Ye do always resist the Holy Ghost. As your fathers did, so do ye. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Same thing going on there, still going on today.
That's right. That's right, bro.
Read on now where we is. If y'all got some more.
17:24.
Yeah.
Acts 17:24. Yahweh that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Neither is worship with men's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath in all things.
Here we go. All right, let's pick this back up.
Back in Barnabas 13th chapter, verse 20. Consider how that the temple of the Lord shall be very gloriously built. And by what means shall be? Learn. Having received remission of our sins and trusted in the name of the Lord, we'll become renewed, being again created as it were from the beginning, where Yah truly dwells in our house, that is, in us. But how does he dwell in us? The word of his faith, the calling of his promise, the wisdom of his righteous judgment.
That's right.
The commands of his doctrine. He himself prophesies with us.
Within us.
Within us, I'm sorry. He himself dwelleth in us and openeth to us who were in bondage of death, the gate of our temple.
That's right.
That is the mouth of wisdom, having given repentance unto us, and by this means has brought us to be an incorruptible temple. He therefore that desires to be saved, looketh not unto the man,
That's right.
but unto him that dwelleth in him.
Right. Look inside yourself. Keep reading on. Keep reading.
And speaketh by him, being struck with wonder, for as much as he never either heard him speaking such words out of his mouth, nor ever desired to hear them. This is that spiritual temple that is built unto the Lord.
So these last 3-4 verses we just went through, it just reminded us, remember, these are instructions for us to get closer to the Lord and striving in our everyday strivings to get to the kingdom. They just gave you do this, do this, do this. Don't be like that. What you got, bro? Yeah. And also, when it said about not looking to another man, that takes man right out.
Right.
If you got one between you and Christ, another man is your head, another preacher you sitting under listening to,
You're going
say, don't look to man, look in here. What is in here? It's your temple, and who's supposed to be in there? He's supposed to be dwelling in there, right?
Yeah.
Don't look out at another man. Look at what's inside you. Your temple is where he wants to dwell. And he ain't gonna dwell in a dirty house.
If he ain't dwelling there,
If you got drawers on the floor inside your temple, if you got drawers on the floor of your temple inside here, you need to pick them drawers up. Don't be talking about mine.
Well, you said no dirty house.
No dirty house. So if it's your temple that he dwells in that's supposed to be inside you, you have to keep your house clean.
That's right.
For him to dwell there. You have to have a clean house for him to dwell in. You cannot pollute what? His temple. We just read what they did to the physical one. Brought the devil himself in there.
Right.
He didn't have to pay admission. We got you at the back door. Satan, come on in.
No dirty house.
He couldn't come through the front door. So we see what happened with the real temple. We said we ain't looking at that temple. That temple was what? Corrupted and what? Destroyed.
Full of idolatry.
All of everything in it.
Dirty house.
So if you got them things inside your temple, you need to do what? Get them out. Get them out of there.
And you know if it's dirty.
That's right.
Your house, if you have to wipe your feet before you leave it so you don't get the city dirty. Your house dirty.
That's a dirty temple. Well, this is gonna come back up again, though. Let's keep reading. No, you did.
Chapter 14. And thus I trust I have declared to you as much and with as great simplicity as I could, those things which provide for your salvation, so as not to have omitted anything that might be requisite thereunto. For should I speak should I speak further of the things that now are, and of those that are to come, who would not yet understand them, seeing they lie in peril.
See, now we see how this came back here?
Yeah.
See how that came back now? But the difference is, what I say, this is Paul's partner, and they rolled together. But they had different spirits, where Barnabas went on to explain himself a little more plainly for you to understand what he was saying. That's why people, myself included until recently, have Paul twisted. It makes him seem like he's saying that which he ain't.
Right.
He's just deeper than that.
That's right.
So that means if you don't understand it takes practice. It takes study. It takes prayer and supplication and asking for wisdom and knowledge and understanding of your holy scriptures, Father, because I am seeking you. I need your help in understanding your word.
Right.
And he'll give it to you.
Yeah, he will.
He'll give it to you.
So that,
Oh, I'm raising my, why am I raising my hand?
Just read right the Bible, talking about you can't, you tired of these and thous and ye's and yays.
You had, like you said, you had to learn Shakespeare in high school. So for a grade, all it is if you love him, you will seek understanding. You ain't gonna have to worry about not understanding him, because if you love him, he will give you the understanding. Why would he hold it back from you? Why would he hold it back from a child like we? I'll be quiet. We're gonna see it. I'll just be quiet. Let's read. Let's read.
this therefore shall suffice as to these things. Let us now go on to the other kind of knowledge and doctrine. There are two ways of doctrine and power, the one of light, the other of darkness.
There it is. There's your only choices. Period. That's no different than the tree of light, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the Most High and his only begotten Son with the Holy Spirit, or Satan himself. It's a choice. There is no in between. There is no straddling the fence. There is no lukewarm,
No.
hot or cold.
No double cup drinking.
You don't want that ultimate hot. No straddling the fence. No running back and forth. Like when you talk to somebody and you be like, what church you go to? Oh, we in between churches right now. Well, why are you in between churches right now? Because you're not being taught at any of them.
Right.
So you're seeking the right one, and you're seeking that which is not going to be found. But when you're in the truth and you talk to someone and say they're in between churches, well, give mine a try. You lay it out for them. What is it that you're seeking? What is it that you're looking for? You know, let's get to work on this. Let's sit down and see if I can give you what you're seeking to put you on the path of what he gave me to give you. But it don't mean it's going to work for everyone. But the fact of it is, this is only one choice. You're either going to roll with the most, or you only have the lake of fire as another option. So the ultimate is the kingdom of heaven or the lake of fire. It's still your choice. It's your choice, but we know that grace and mercy runs out.
Yeah.
Let's read on.
Verse 4. But there is a great deal of difference between these two ways. For over one are appointed the angels of Yahweh, the leaders of the way of light. Over the other, the angels of Satan. And the one is the Lord from everlasting to everlasting. And the other is the prince of the time of the unrighteous.
So y'all see here now, that little angel on your right shoulder that's appointed to you over righteousness. The angels are appointed out there for this righteousness, and also whose angels are where? On that left shoulder. Righteousness is always coming from the right. It's going to be, that's even in the cartoons. They show you the correct order. The good angel is always on the right shoulder, and the little bad one is on the left. And you are what? In the middle. And the options are given to you to choose up. It boils down to you. Read on.
Verse 5. Now the way of light is this. If anyone desires to attain to the place that is appointed for him, and will hasten thither by his works, and the knowledge that has been given to us for walking in it, to this effect, thou shalt love him that made thee. Thou shalt glorify him that hath redeemed thee from death. Thou shalt be simple in heart and rich in the spirit. Thou shalt not cleave to those that walk in the way of death. Thou shalt hate to do anything that is not pleasing unto Yahweh. Thou shalt abhor all dissimulation. Thou shalt not neglect any of the commands of the Elohim.
Now, real quick, I'm going to let them run this out, but this is written like, if you need that type of help, and we were just talking about how merciful the Most High is, he gave that cross for us to be able to look at with the serpent on it, that we needed that visual. This right here is written out. If you need the help, write it out in a list and put it on your refrigerator. These are the things that I need to be doing. These are the things I need in front of me every single day when I start my day, because these are what? How to get closer, being obedient to the Lord. I'm striving to be with the Most High. I need to keep going with him. And here's your reminder. If you got to write it out in the list, it's put out there plain and simple for you. Write it out and put it on your refrigerator. Eggs, beer, and the Most High's commandment. Right? Let's read on.
Verse 7. Thou shalt not exalt thyself, but shall be humble. Thou shalt not take honor to thyself. Thou shalt not entertain into any wicked counsel against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not be overconfident in thy heart. Thou shalt not commit fornication, nor adultery. Neither shalt thou corrupt thyself with mankind. Thou shalt not make use of the word of Yahweh to any impurity. Thou shalt not accept any man's person. When thou reprovest anyone's faults, thou shalt be gentle. Thou shalt be quiet. Thou shalt tremble at the words which thou hast heard. Thou shalt not keep any hatred in thy heart against thy brother. Thou shalt not entertain any doubt whether it shall be or not. Thou shalt not take the name of thy Lord in vain. Thou shalt love go, man. Thou shalt love thy neighbor above thine own soul. Thou shalt not destroy thy conceptions,
That concept.
thy concepts.
Conception. You right.
That is conception. What's going on? Thou shalt not destroy thy conceptions before they are brought forth, nor kill them after they are born.
So now right there, we just read it. It's without excuse from now on.
Margaret
If
Sanger.
you didn't know, now you know. We're not supposed to do that. Okay? We're not supposed to do that. There's the answer of that question. Now we know. No, don't do it. And you know why? Is it more simpler?
Make it simple.
I'll break it down. It's called planning. It's called courting. It's called the Most High first. Okay? If it's that, all of that, that will be. But you can't go willy-nilly through and take a chance and, oh, here's another one. Oh, here's another one. Oh, here's another one. No. Oh, I can't take this one. I'm gonna have to get rid of this one. No. Don't have them in the first place if you are not in a position. Read it for me, boy. About counting a man building a house and not counting the cost.
Well, just here in the scripture, just say, any man that don't count the cost of a house when he's getting ready to build it is wasting his money, so to speak, because if you don't know, if you're trying to just buy supplies as you're going along, and you got your family living in there, you can't have them living in there because you didn't have enough to build a roof on top. So it's raining on your family. So, or just when it constantly continue to say enough for thy own household, when you building a house, you weighing the options. You're saying one baby, that's 10 packs of Pampers per month. That's this much Enfamil per month. Those things have to be calculated. They must be calculated because you're bringing somebody into the world that cannot work at one day old. They cannot work at 5 years old. So you're responsible for them. You're responsible for food, clothing, and shelter when you bring them into this world. If you have not, you got to play catch up now. But that's why it says in thy conception, no matter what concordance you use, conceptions mean to make pregnant. So if you make pregnant, you got to be ready to take care of pregnant.
If you walking in the light of the Most High, you
Yes,
won't
sir.
be no mistakes.
Right.
You don't need no morning after pill.
Right. So, and that's very good because you will never hear anybody saying, well, I thought you said you was on that protection pregnancy. Well, I thought you said you was gonna be covenant short.
Covenant short. That don't even sound right.
That means it ain't right. That means it ain't right. It means it ain't right. Why is it that all the other commandments he give us to keep, we still want to weasel around what we want to weasel around? Thinking he ain't looking, thinking he gonna miss this one, thinking he too busy to see and know what I'm doing here in secret and in the dark. This one time. No, we know what you do in the dark comes to light. So we see sometimes that light is babies showing up. That's what was going on in the dark.
Sure.
That you can't hide no more. Can't hide that no more. So now that's the same situation with Joseph and Mary. She couldn't hide her pregnancy no more. When Joseph came home. He came home and found her pregnant.
That's right.
Let's read on. 12.
Verse 12. Thou shalt not withdraw thy hand from thy son or from thy daughter, but shall teach them from their youth to fear the Most High. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods, neither shalt thou be an extortioner, neither shall thy heart be joined to proud men, but thou shalt be numbered among the righteous and the lowly. Whatever events shall happen unto thee, thou shalt receive them as good.
That means that in all situations and circumstances, no matter what happens to him, we praise the name of the Lord. Something bad happen to you, but you still praise his name.
That's right.
You don't curse his name. You don't curse anything. You praise his name no matter what happens. Because the reason why you praise his name, you don't understand why it happened. It may have happened for a reason to bring forth something else, but this may have had to happen. But you still praise his name. You praise his name because you don't know what's in that for you. Let's read on.
Verse 14, thou shalt not be double-minded or double-tongued, for a double tongue is a snare of death. Thou shalt be subject unto the Elohim and to inferior masters as to the representatives of Yahweh in fear and reverence.
So what that's saying here is that we honor and praise and bless the Most High, but he also has people here that he's telling you to respect, that he has that's working for him. Only respect them in the job that they're doing,
That's right.
but not in persons.
That's right.
He has his people, so he's letting you know. Honor them with that honor. Read on.
Verse 15, thou shalt not be bitter in thy commands toward any of the servants that trust in Yahweh, lest thou chance not to fear him who is over both, because he came not to call any with respect of persons, but whomsoever the Spirit had
So
prepared.
you see how he prepared them people that they just went and defined. He's saying, them are my people. I got them here for a reason, and that reason is for you. That reason is for you, so respect it. Read on.
Thou shalt communicate to thy neighbor all thou hast. Thou shalt not call anything thine own. For if ye partake of such things as are incorruptible, how much more should you do it in those that are corruptible? Thou shalt not be forward to speak, for the mouth is a snare of death. Strive for thy soul with all thy might. Reach not out thine hand to receive, and withhold it not when thou shouldest give.
So you see here in this 17, when it says to strive for thy soul with all thy might. Look in your life and say, is there something that you putting first, that you more into? It may be a career, maybe school, whatever there is. This says strive for your soul.
That's right.
With all your might. The first thing is him, and by striving for your soul with all your might, that's getting him. That's your first mission, to get my soul
That's right.
to him. Here it is, Lord, because it's up to him to do what he gonna do with it. But it's for me to strive to get it to him. I'm the one that's in control of mine.
That's right.
And it's up to me to deliver my package to him. And the only way I can do it, striving is something that is continuous process.
I can't drop it off for you?
No. Which could. Striving
Right.
continually, every day,
Never stop.
throughout the day, enduring to the end. Striving for my soul to get it to him. Read on.
Verse 18, thou shalt love as the apple of thine eye everyone that speaketh unto thee the word of the Elohim.
That's right.
Call to thy remembrance day and night. Guys, forgive me. Day and night, the future judgment.
So even when if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't sleep and you can't turn the TV on because you sleeping with somebody that don't want it on.
That's right, boy.
These are my
That's why I come.
confessions.
But you're laying on your bed in the middle of the night and you're thinking, your thoughts are supposed to be of him anyway.
That's right.
And we just read, it says to be thinking about the what? Future judgment. That sums it up.
That's right.
the future judge. What is it going to be for you? Think about it. Think about it. So when you do get up, you got a mission. Striving for my soul today. Every day.
That's right.
Read on.
Verse 19, thou shalt seek out every day the persons of the righteous, and both consider and go about to exhort others by the word, and meditate how thou mayest save a soul.
So right here, this is saying that there's work,
Yeah.
right? Because the first thing you got to do is think about how may I better improve myself that I can go out here and put some work in. If you hear something on your job and you like, I know that ain't right, but I don't have the answer. What that mean? You go home and get it.
That's what it means.
And if the Lord let you live to see the next day, you go right back to that person. I heard you. Now, see, I had to do this with a dude at my job. I didn't hear the conversation, but what I heard, I didn't like. And it took me 2 or 3 weeks to find him. And when I laid eyes on him, I stepped right up to him. I said, I heard that you said that you was mad at the Lord because of what we going through as a people. He said, yeah, I did say that. But whoever that communicated it wrong, can't even say it, miscommunicated what he had said intentionally. I said, but no, I had to step up and defend my God. Hold on. Hold on. Let's get this corrected. So he was saying that he didn't believe how, he couldn't understand why God, if we supposed to be his people, then why is we so punished? I said, you looking in the wrong person. Look in the mirror. It's our fault.
Yes, sir.
It's our fault. But I had to come find you because I represent him. And if I heard something was wrong about him, I don't want no miscommunication. You might not have that opportunity. I was blessed with it, but I got that cleared up for myself, for that understanding. So let's read this again. Where we at? Read that verse again.
19.
Yes. Yes. So I got it. So when it says, thou shalt seek out every day the persons of righteousness, and both consider and go about to exhort others by the word, and meditate how thou mayest save a soul. That means you put in some work. That's a strategy. That's a game plan. That's you putting in your own work.
That's right.
Just say, when I walk out this door today, I am equipped to get out here and try to save a soul.
We in the soul saving business.
That's right.
Study to show thyself.
That's right. So that's what you're supposed to be doing. And if you ain't doing it, we'll let the rest finish. Let's see. That's right. Read on.
Verse 20, thou shalt also labor with thy hands to give to the poor, that thy sins may be forgiven thee.
So read on. Y'all heard that.
Thou shalt not deliberate whether thou shouldest give, nor having given, murmur at it. Give to everyone that asks, so shalt thou know who is the good rewarder of thy gifts. Keep that thou hast received. Keep what thou hast received. Thou shalt neither add to it nor take from it.
What is it that you have received?
Word.
And do what with it? Keep it as you received it. Don't add to it. Don't take away from it. Don't add to it or take away from it. Keep that which thou hast received. But it still goes to, it's your responsibility.
That's right.
If you don't make it to the kingdom, he can run all these days right back to you. Right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there. You were given even the instructions. They were broken down for you. They were told for you to write them down and put them on your refrigerator if you need to. All of these things, that's your choice to say, I don't want to do them.
Right.
Is he making you do it? No. Is he worried about you not worshiping him? No.
He got a spot for you.
Did they say my God has a leg of fire? Let's read. Let's read. Let's read.
Let the wicked be always thy adversary. Thou shalt judge with the righteous judgment. Thou shalt never cause divisions, but shall make peace between those that are at variance, and bring them together. Thou shalt confess thy sins, and not come to thy prayer with an evil conscience.
So it says, prepare yourself before you come to him. Get yourself right. In your prayer, you just don't stand up and say, it's 2 o'clock, it's the 9th hour, and start praying. You have to prepare yourself before you go to him. Not doing it by obedience 3 times a day. It says, prepare yourself.
That's right.
Get yourself together before you stand before him. Respect him. Read on.
This is the way of light. Chapter 25.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I mean,
Now, this is the last chapter, you all, and then we're going to get.
I guess I should have never said nothing about no Roman numbers. Huh?
This is our last chapter, you all, and then we're going to go right into Judges chapter 13 through 16 and read the story of Samson.
Chapter 15.
Okay.
15, that's 15.
15, verse 1. But the way of darkness is crooked and full of cursing, for it is the way of eternal death, with punishment in which they that walk meet those things that destroy their own souls. Such are adultery, confidence, pride of power, hypocrisy, double-mindedness, adultery, murder, raping.
That is a robber. There's a person, that's a stick-up kid. That Raphine there, that means a robber. Read on.
Pride, transgression, deceit, malice, arrogance, witchcraft, covetousness, and the want of the fear of God.
Now, stop that right there real quick. So we just got through the previous chapter, 14, showed all of what the righteous things would do. Gives you all of your righteous qualifications. Like I say, a list. You pick it out, write it down, right? Now, this is the opposite. The only reason why I'm mentioning about this, making it the point that this is the opposite. If you got any of this crap in you, we're going to read the list. If you sit there and going, I'm working on, we're going to read the list so you can see it for yourself. If you got any of that in you, you know what to get out. Read on.
Verse 3, in this walk, those who are the persecutors of them that are good, haters of truth, lovers of lies, who know not the reward of righteousness, nor cleave to anything that is good, who administer not righteous judgment to the widow and orphan, who watch the wickedness and not for the fear of the master, from whom gentleness and patience are far off, who love vanity and follow after rewards, having no compassion upon the poor, nor take any pains from such as they heavy, for such as are heavy laden and oppressed, ready to evil speaking.
You know them people, y'all know them people. Every time you go around them, they got something evil to say about anybody. Read on.
Verse 6 again, ready to evil speaking, not knowing him that made them.
Not knowing him that made them. Y'all can see people that you can look at and by their actions. We judge the spirit by the spirit properly. We see people by their actions and you say, there ain't no God in them at all. You can just see that they don't even consider the Lord in no shape, form, or fashion. Don't even pray when they eat. Don't consider him and don't know nothing about, don't care nothing about him. You don't see no, I'm so sick of hearing GD at my job. I can't tell all the niggas every morning. Can y'all please just stop that? Y'all offending me. You know what I'm saying? But no, I don't want to put that out there like that. But the fact of it is that that's just goes to show that what we read in Isaiah chapter 3 in the library the other day, towards the end of the chapter, when it talks about our people are our own oppressors.
Yeah.
We oppress each other.
That's right.
We make it hard to even be around each other.
That's right.
Like I said, I got to go in and get paid to hear the Lord's name in vain blasted out till I can get out of there. We oppress each other. We litter. St. Louis is a gigantic trash can. But you leave St. Louis and go somewhere else and don't see a speck of trash nowhere. But we got to live like Oscar the Grouch in a trash can. Because we oppressing each other, because we don't do what? We don't care about our neighbor. This started out by saying about the Lord, we have no knowledge of him. These people that have no knowledge of him. And when the Messiah said that all these commandments hang on these two, we just see they don't care about them. That's the first one broken. And oppressing each other, your neighbors, there's the second one. You done broke all 10 and don't even care. Read on.
Verse 6 again. Ready to evil speak, not knowing him that made them. Murderers of children.
We see that every day and think about that. How can you kill a child?
Right.
But look where we're reading this at and what time this was. These were the people that what? Had him. Barnabas was with Paul. And right here in this time, we're seeing people who murder children. Ain't nothing new under the sun, and we see this today in our lives, and it will continue. It will continue. Read on.
Corrupters of the creatures of Yahweh, that turn away from the needy, oppress the afflicted, are the advocates of the rich, but unjust judges of the poor, being altogether sinners. It is therefore fitting that learning the just commands of the master, which we have before mentioned, we should walk in them. For he who does such things shall be glorified in the kingdom of Yahweh.
Where? In the
In
kingdom.
the kingdom of Yahweh.
You ain't glorified here.
That's right.
You don't get no reward here. You get what you need to get through this. And you can have it in comfort. Because he say, I got you.
That's right.
That's right.
But that ultimate reward you get to the kingdom. I need his help getting through this life. Without him, I couldn't. His son already opened the door. But the door's open. His son baptized me by fire with the Holy Spirit. I got the requirements. I got the tools. I got the strength. But I still need him because I can't do this on my own.
That's right.
I need him. I need him. Everybody out there, everybody in there. I need you all.
But
The body. I need you all to help me get through this to the kingdom. And I am here to help you all.
that's right.
Fair exchange ain't no robbery.
That's right. And never been.
Freely I received, freely I give.
That's right.
But I need help as well. Read on.
Verse 8. But he that chooses the other part shall be destroyed, together with his works. For this cause there shall be both a resurrection and a retribution. I beseech those that are in high estate among you, if so, be you will take the counsel which with a good intention I offer to you. You have those with you toward whom you may do good. Do not forsake them. For the day is at hand. For the day is at hand in which all things shall be destroyed, together with the wicked ones. The master is near.
He is near.
And his reward is with him.
He's with it. I got you. I'm bringing it to you. I'm bringing it to you. It's like when you was a child and you talked to your parents at work, and if they was to go to the vending machine and get a candy bar out of there and they would bring it home, you expect that candy bar to be coming home with your mother when she got home from work. Nigga, you obeyed me, you did good, you got all your chores.
You ain't looking at her, you just looking at her first.
At that reward.
See if it's in the shape.
At that reward. At that reward. Right? That reward that he said, I'm coming. And I got your reward. I'm bringing it with me. Bring it on. I'm like you said, looking at the purse.
Yes, sir.
Let's read on.
Verse 11. I beseech you, therefore, again and again, be as good lawgivers to one another.
Read that again.
Verse 11. I beseech you, therefore, again and again, be as good lawgivers to one another. Continue faithful counselors to each other. Remove from among you all hypocrisy. And may God, the Lord of all the world, give you wisdom, knowledge, counsel, and understanding of his judgments.
That's right, of his what?
Judgments in patience.
So right there, he said, and may God give you. So if he's asking that to give, he's got them to give.
That's right.
He's got them to give. So those are the tools that he's got for you to give to you. You ask him for them because those are the tools that you need.
That's right.
These are the tools that you need when you study. These are the tools that you need with you when you get out here in this world. These are the tools that you need with you when you're dealing with people. You call back on the tools because we have a job to do and he hired us. And when you get hired, your job does what? Provide you the tools that you need to do your job. And he says right here, commandments, knowledge, counsels, understanding of his judgments, wisdom. He will give them to you because you need them.
That's right.
Read on.
Verse 13. Be ye taught of Yahweh, seeking what is the Lord requires of you, and doing it, that ye may be saved in the day of judgment. And if there be among you any remembrance of what is good, think of me, meditating upon these things, that both my desire and my watching for you may turn to a good account. I beseech you, I ask it as a favor of you, whilst you are in this beautiful tabernacle of the body.
The body. He said a tabernacle. We know tabernacles as being physical buildings. But he says right here that you are in the tabernacle of the body.
Yes, sir.
That is your temple, the tabernacle in which the Lord will dwell in. Your body. Read on.
Be wanting in none of these things, but without ceasing, seek them and fulfill every command. For these things are fitting and worthy to be done. Wherefore, I have given the more diligence to write unto you according to my ability, that you might rejoice. Farewell, children of love and peace. The master of glory and of all grace be with your spirit. Amen.
Amen. Are we all in agreement?
Amen.
Amen. Now we can say, let the church say amen. Get it good to me. Give me a number. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen should be freely.
All right, y'all. We're going to finish this up with these 3 chapters in the book of Judges on the life and times and adventures of Samson. You want to run this? I'll read you teach. We're going to do some. Now we're going to switch roles. Solomon is going to teach the story of Samson, and now I'm going to be a reader.
Where we starting now?
Judges 13. We got 13, 14, and 15. 13, 14, 15. It's 16. We got 4 chapters. 4 chapters. I call it. Yeah, it's 13 through 16. 13 through 16 is 4 chapters, not 3. Yeah, this ain't gonna take us but a minute. And it depends on what you want to get into. Yeah. All right, Judges chapter 13, verse 1, when everyone's ready.
We're reading in the book of Judges, starting at chapter 13 and verse 1. Everybody there?
Yes, sir.
Let's get some understanding. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Most High. And the Most High delivered them into the hands of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren, and bare not. And the angel of the Most High appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive, and bear a son.
So y'all see, this is a common practice throughout this walk of women being barren, but y'all, a lot of times these things are happening to build your faith and trust, because if the law states you have to leave an inheritor and then your wife is barren, what do? It don't immediately tell you to go get another woman. It say pray to the Lord that you may be able, that she may be able to conceive. So we seen this with Abraham, we seen it with Jacob and Rachel, you know, and we see it now here again with Manoah. We constantly see what the Most High said, this is a prayer and power time to see if you truly believe, because he will open your womb up, you know, and Jacob, he got into a verbal altercation with Rachel. Rachel just like, man, give me some children. He's like, I'm doing what work I'm supposed to be doing. Right. My end is covered, because the other women have children, so I ain't broke. I'm working well. So from that perspective, you know, he had to say, am I God? He say, I don't have the power to make you conceive. That's not my part. I'm not blessed like that, that where I can just go to any woman that's barren and make them bear seeds. That ain't on me. So you have to follow the instructions. So with me saying that, we're gonna move on really quickly. There was something that was involved with that. It was called mandrake. You read about that in the books of Song of Solomon, and also in this chapter surrounding Jacob and Rachel. Leah's son went out and found mandrake and brought it back. Mandrake is a substance that's called an aphrodisiac. Its root looked like a human being, but its root, is the most dangerous part of the plant. It'll kill you instantly. The root is poisonous, but the apples are not. It's called the May apple as well. Well, they found some of that, and from its aphrodisiac qualities, Rachel was conceived. Now it says Solomon, you could smell them all through his temple. Well, I'm sure with 700 wives and 300 concubines, there'd be a lot of mandrake smells in the air.
Can you get some mandrake, sister?
So, you know, you have to be, like I say, extra careful, because the root is poisonous. And they call it the May apple, you know, in some places. But we see again that certain seed-bearing herbs that where they make stuff now, the blue peel and different things, comes from the Bible. That they just manufacture them. They're more synthetic than the real deal. But we see these things throughout the Bible. Ain't nothing new under the sun. But I just wanted to make that point. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing.
Because he's talking to Samson's mother, and he said, look, whatever you digest, it goes through that umbilical cord and goes into that baby. Well, this baby is going to be a Nazarite. He's going to be pure from the Lord. He's like John the Baptist. He's going to be a special child. So whatever you feed yourself, you have to make sure it is absolutely clean. No additives, no products, no GMO, none of that. And not even no wine. Go ahead, bro. They want the baby to be born like Woodrow.
Verse 5. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto Yah from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines.
So the Most High said, no razor upon his head. So you see these things because he's taking a vow of a Nazarite from the womb, though, this number 6 chapter. It gives you what a Nazarite has to do and his vows he goes through. Usually the minimum was 30-day vow as a Nazarite. If you came upon a dead body, you end up having to cut your hair off anyway and start over again. A lot of times you see these people called monks. They call themselves taking these vows of a Nazarite. But they're nowhere going according to these scriptures I will tell you to do. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, a man of Yah came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of Yah, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name.
And you see a lot of times, why does the angel always go to the woman first? Because the belief has to be there first. You have to, the woman has to believe that it's possible that she can get pregnant. The husband already ready to go. So if he believes her that she believes it will happen, but if she failed to believe, then that's when we get extra drama. Like Sarah, he went to Sarah and said, you gonna get pregnant? She said, I'm 8. How's that? He said, you don't believe it? You think this is a joke? He said, I'll see you in 9 months then, and we'll talk then. But you see at that point, the same way with Rebecca and Isaac, you know, same situation, you know, you gonna conceive too. You gonna bear a son. You gonna bear twins in your womb. But, and the elder should serve the younger. She immediately took the younger and had him portray the elder to force the prophecy to fit. This cost Jacob 20 years of labor to Laban for tricking Isaac. He got tricked for 20 years. So it's a process of the Most High punish you for, when I tell you something, you got to trust word is bond. If you go any other route, we're going to have to go through all of these problems to get back to square one.
Because of your disobedience.
Because of disobedience, yeah. But you see, Mary said, be it so, Lord. She said, how can it be? And I don't know. I don't have a husband. You know, how can it be? He said, the Holy Spirit going to overshadow. She said, be it so, Lord. At that point, she became pregnant. At that very second, she was pregnant. She conceived. Go ahead.
Verse 7. But he said unto me, behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing. For the child shall be a Nazarite to Yah from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated the Most High and said, O my Lord, let the man of Yah, which thou didst send, again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. And Yah hearkened to the man, and Yah hearkened to the voice of Manoah. And the angel of Yah came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. But Manoah, her husband, was not with her.
See, and this is a difference in the temple of in the temple when the angel came to Zechariah. He said, Elizabeth in her old age, your wife, she gonna conceive, and you're gonna call a child named John. And the first thing he did is like, John? Ain't no Johns in our lineage. He like, See, you're questioning this already. See, you think because ain't no Johns in your lineage that this ain't coming from the Lord. You know what's going on. You're a priest in the temple. He said, for that, we're going to put your mouth on lock. That's right. So he became basically deaf, couldn't speak no more because him questioning the prophecy that's coming to pass. Don't worry about what his name going to be. That ain't your concern. Just do what this mission on high is saying. You know, are you only concerned with being able to rustle the sheets again? Get your mind straight.
Well,
Go
So during this time, would you consider our stance should be more like on the Nazarite side for the order of Melchizedek? Would you say that?
Well, it's a vow to the Lord, and he tells you if you can't keep a vow to him, don't make it. So Deuteronomy 19, Deuteronomy 17, don't swear unless you can. See, these are swearing vows. So when you commit to being a Nazarite, you're basically putting, for a man, he's putting his word on the line. And that's why most times they put a hand under a man's thigh, because they're close to his producers of life. So his word was his bond. Mm-hmm. So you're putting that on the line. If you know you ain't gonna do this, that's gonna be a problem. Mm-hmm. You can't want to be a Nazarite and you just belch the taste of Hennessy. It's gonna be rough on you. Because you gotta cut that off. Right, and then you gotta remember about cutting your hair. You can't go around a dead body, so funeral is gonna be off limits. You know, it's going to be all these type of things that come with it. That's why you always see monks up in mountains, away from all of the public. Mm-hmm. So in case somebody dies from them, they have to start over again. But Samson was a different type of child. He was a special child. He was going to be born to go around the dead as a Nazarite. Mm-hmm. So there's an exception to the rule or permissive will for him, because if you can't go around dead bodies, how you gonna deliver Israel from the Philistines? Mm-hmm. With war on the table. Right. See, y'all, and this is a lot of times when people think you're going against what the scriptures say. There's permissive will with every law, mm-hmm. so that it don't become grievous to you or a burden to you. There's things gonna happen that he said, I'm gonna add this to the law so you'll be able to keep it this way. But it does not in no way, shape, or form take away from the law itself. You have to understand this is a time period where Israel sinned again. So he has to send somebody for us to deliver us out of our evil ways, because somebody that took us captive again. Because we just can't get right. Go ahead.
And also, like in that chapter 13, we just read, where I was saying that if you use this as a guideline, this is your list. If you looked at the qualifications of what it meant to be a Nazarite and use it as a guide to model yourself by.
Yeah.
But you can't take that vow. But the fact is that these are examples that you say, okay, well, a Nazarite does this, a Nazarite does this, Nazarite does this, Nazarite does this. You might not want to stop drinking.
Right.
But you could say, you have other examples to say, this is what it means to be a Nazarite. I can model myself and use this as a guide, but not putting yourself in those shoes. But you have an example of what a Nazarite is. I want to choose, just like the example we read here. This is what it is, like the light and darkness, the tree of life, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. There's your example. You have the righteous people do this, and the wicked people do that. And even in the wickedness, if you see the wickedness of something that you're doing, you get that out.
That's right.
But you're supposed to be on that righteous side, on the light side. There is your guide. Be the light side. Okay.
Verse 10. And the woman made haste and ran and showed her husband and said unto him, Behold, the man hath appeared unto me, that came unto me the other day. And Manoah arose and went after his wife, and came to the man, and said unto him, Art thou the man that spakest unto the woman? And he said, I am. And Manoah said, now let thy words come to pass. How shall we order the child? And how shall we do unto him?
So you see right here, they're getting ready to get the instructions. So the instructions they get, instruction to say, I can go by same instructions as a model. Use them as a manual on your life.
That's right.
Read on.
Verse 13. And the angel of the Most High said unto Manoah, of all that I said unto the woman, let her beware.
See, and if she don't believe it, it ain't gonna do no good. She has to believe, and she has to remember, because she's got the child for 9 months. He just put the child there. But it's the same way as nurturing up a child. It's the same way in a home. The mother rear up the child in its younger years till it get like 9 months. It's like 9 years around that time where most young boys start to come into puberty. And now they're coming in, and now the father starts to take over and tell them, don't you be out there willy-nilly. Don't bring me no grandchildren, and you still, and I have to buy
Still my roof.
Right, I have to buy your drawers. How you gonna
Bring me
produce
some
something, right? To double up on the draw.
Right.
So,
I got to buy some drawers
Right.
for my son and my grandson.
right. That's rough, boy. Yeah, that'll be terrible. So this is why it's saying she must beware of what says her. She's the one that's carrying them in the womb. This is why the fifth commandment, honor thy mother and father, is so important, y'all, because you couldn't be who you are if your mother didn't take care of you for 9 months. Now, you may not like the way certain things happen, but for 9 months, you ain't coming out disturbed upstairs, so to speak. Because if you can complain about it, then nothing happen. She did her job at least for 9 months. You at least owe her for 9 months. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 14. She may not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded her, let her observe. And Manoah said unto the angel of the Most High, I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee. And the angel of Yahweh said unto Manoah, though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. And if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto the Most High. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of the Lord.
See, he looking just like a regular man. And you see right here, this is how, when you know angels, this is not an angel masquerading or one of Lucifer's angels, because he told him, you can't worship me, you can't send no burnt offerings, you can't do that to me. You have to do that to the Lord. I'm just bringing the message, I ain't bringing the miracle. The miracle is if y'all believe what I'm telling y'all, sent from on high. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 17. And Manoah said unto the angel of the Most High, what is thy name, that when thy sayings come to pass, we may do thee honor? And the angel of Yahweh said unto him, why askest thou thus after my name, seeing it is secret?
Like, so you keep asking, so I can say, was it Gabriel, Michael, Raphael? Who I'ma say said this to me, because he know who he dealing with. Stiff-neck Israel. No, you ain't talk to no angel.
Right. And we need proof. We need proof that we got to tell, so they will believe us.
We'll see in 9 months. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 19. So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering and offered it upon a rock unto the Most High.
Obedient.
And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of Yahweh ascended in the flame of the altar. And Manoah and his wife looked on it, and fell on their faces to the ground. But the angel of the Most High did no more appear to Manoah and his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was an angel of the Lord. And Manoah said unto his wife, we shall surely die, because we have seen Yah. But his wife said unto him, if the Most High were pleased to kill us, he would not have received a burnt offering and a meat offering at our hands. Neither would he have showed us all these things, nor would as at this time have told us such things as these. And the woman bare a son and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and the Most High blessed him. And the spirit of Yahweh began to move him at times in the camp of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol.
Verse 14, chapter 14. And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife.
Now hold that right there and just somebody read me Deuteronomy 7 and 4. You say, just so I want you to hold that, Uriah, because this is a thing that where people keep getting misunderstood, that we're saying you're advising Israel to break the law. But we remember when we started in verse 13, what was Samson's mission? What did the angel come for? He said to deliver Israel from the Philistines.
Right.
So whatever this permissive will gonna be is for a reason. If you just keep looking at it like the Most High is breaking his own laws, or you teaching law breaking, you're not understanding law perfectly. Go ahead, read that real quick, that Deuteronomy 7.
Hit 3.
Yeah, 3, yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3.
What it say?
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
Right.
So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. For thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art a holy people unto the Master thy El. The Master thy El has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
Now right here, we got Samson going against this, right?
Yep.
Because we see him saying what in verse 2? I see a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines.
Yep.
What did he say he want to do with it?
Get her to be a wife.
Okay, let's read some more.
Verse 3. I'll read 2 again. And there came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Then his father and his mother said unto him, is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, get her for me, for she pleases me well.
So he said she pleases me well. Now, is he don't want to hear the law because his father just told him, man, you got 12 tribes you can pick from. Right. Why are you going after this Philistine? Could it be because of Leviticus 21:10? I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 21:10. Hit that for me just if you will. Because there's two things working here that we have to understand when we understand law and things going on or relationship outside of Israel, and you're told not to go to these nations. Hit that Deuteronomy 21:10.
It's going to read further than 10, just a few verses.
Just want it on, yeah.
It explains it, right? It's going to explain it. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10.
What it say?
When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies.
So was he going to war? Was that his mission?
Yep.
To go to war against the Philistines? Was that his mission?
Yes, sir.
Let's read some more.
And the Lord thy God hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou takest them captives, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her.
Has a what?
A desire unto her. That thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Y'all see that?
Go ahead.
That desire?
Yeah.
But you had to marry.
Yeah.
Thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her,
Right.
and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month.
See, and so the things that she got rid of her custom and clothing. She basically started over herself by cutting all of her off because her could be grown to other gods, and her nails is why the beauty salon love you women and nails and hair. It's always a situation with the hair, like you speak about in the book of Jude and 1 Corinthians 11. Beware because the angels like your hair. And they like to tell you about how much they like your hair. It's for a reason, because they want to be that covering for you instead of your natural hair. So they want you to fix it like the gods of their people. So go ahead, bro.
So, question. So this is the reason, two questions for you. So you would say this is the reason he pleased her by the way he looked, by the way she looked.
Well, that was just a lustful desire. See, because he's leapfrogging the command. The command said, when you have taken them captive, he ain't even threw a blow yet. And he already got him a woman. He look, ooh, and he ain't threw nary a blow yet. I want her, see, so now he's ahead of the law. He's ahead of it. Ain't been no victory yet. And you already ready to get weak in the loin.
Right.
You know any boxing,
Right.
you know, go to bed before you go to war. Let's read some more. Yes.
So next thing is, you're saying that even now, that which it hasn't changed, the angels want to be the head over women.
Yes, absolutely. That's what happened in Genesis 6 chapter. It said,
Guard
be
yourselves.
careful of the hair. That's why it tells you in the Timothy's and the Titus, let women not, it don't say you nothing about you can't have your hair fixed. He don't want you to have a bead everywhere you go. You know, but he said don't fix your hair up so it attracts spirits.
Damn,
Unclean spirits, yeah. But this ain't no way. You got some people teach this ain't don't do nothing to your head. Put a rag on it, that's good enough. And then you just have that behind the liquor store look, just like you just been sleeping back there, just matted up. No, that ain't what the script's telling you. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 13.
So it was angels that taught them how
Yeah,
to adorn themselves.
yeah, to adorn themselves, to attract certain spirits. The Most High tell a woman how to adorn herself
Just
to
modestly.
attract to attract a husband. Satan taught how to attract demons. That's more better. And then he sends you incubuses in your sleep. And when you look up incubus or succubus, incubus is a male demon that attack women in their sleep. He gets you there first. But he first get it through the hair. The hair is the key. And when you read 1 Corinthians 11, you'll understand it perfect at that time. You'll understand what the angels are coming from, because it tells you a woman's hair is her glory. Go ahead.
13. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that, thou shalt go in unto her.
See, even in wartime, you had to at least wait 30 days, let her bewail her mother before you could even consummate that marriage. But what I'm trying to point out here is that Samson is taking a wife void of what Deuteronomy 7 and 6 is saying. But we just read a law that there's a permissive will for Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Is it or is it not? Is he saying if you see one of your captives and you take her to wife, these are the rules if you have a desire in that captive woman? I didn't write that. That's in Deuteronomy 21:10. But it has to be the right war. and on a mission from the Lord for this able to happen. And you have to follow the rule. It said you have to wait this many days. You have to let her bewail her parent. You can't force her in that. Then if she's not, she's a sex slave at that point. And then if he keep on reading, but we're going to get caught up because we run out of time. If he keep reading, you will see that where if she don't want to follow these rules and be a part of what you're talking about, then you can let her go, but for no money. Because you ain't gonna slide in a pimp game doing that. Just go get women from other nations and bring them in and then get rid of them and pimp them out to your body. You had to let her go back free to her place wherever she comes. Go ahead, brother.
Finishing up 13, we'll get back into the other chapter. It says, and after that thou shalt go into her and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife.
Okay, yeah, hit that Samson. Pick that back up at 14.
14 and 14.
And 14 and 4.
14 and 4.
We're going back to Judges.
Judges 14.
But see, I just wanted to show that law because you have to understand Deuteronomy 7 and 6 in its entirety. If he tell you don't marry outside of your house, Abraham did that. Joseph did it, and the children was blessed, and he was blessed. We have to account for why they are going against Deuteronomy 7 and 6, and the Lord is saying it's okay with me. It's not me trying to let nations come in. It's the Lord got a reason, a specific reason. He's allowing his law to be manifested from this perspective. But it's always going to be from his perspective, not ours.
Shabbat shalom, y'all. Most I'll be with y'all.
And that's why when we see him ready to get her to wife and the battle ain't even started, he's going outside of Deuteronomy 21:10. Samson, I'm speaking of. Go ahead, bro, but this is going to catch it up real quick, y'all.
Verse 4. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord, that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time, the Philistines had dominion over Israel.
So he's saying right here, this thing is from the Lord. Now, how can this be from the Lord? And we got Deuteronomy 7 and 6, 7, 3 through 6 we just read. How can this be the Lord for Samson to go marry the enemy's children? See, it's not me. It's the things that we have to answer. So the naysayers or an Egyptologist will come at you and say, man, that's why I don't read your book. It's full of contradictions. In one breath, he said this in Deuteronomy. Next breath, he got Samson marrying somebody. Well, y'all, we just can't say it's been tampered with.
Right.
Or the Romans put that in there.
Right.
We got to go to work, like bro was saying. You got to start meditating. And when you see the law of Deuteronomy 21:10, and then you compare it with Deuteronomy 7 and 6, you said there's an exception to this based on if the Most High gonna need you for something that he does, but it's going to be lawful. It's not going to be unlawful to practice. What made this unlawful? Samson was doing everything he wasn't supposed to be doing. Got his hair cut, went to this, did that. The Lord just had enough of Samson. Read a little bit more.
Verse 5. Right on, bro. And when Samson went Samson down, and his father and his mother to Timnah, and came to the vineyards of Timnah, and behold, a young lion roared against him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand. But he told not his father or his mother what he had done. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well.
So she pleased Samson well, and now we into 1 Corinthians 7. If you have one of an unbeliever that's pleased to dwell with you, is this what Paul been talking about all along? It's certain things, like the law says, thou shalt not kill. Is Solomon contradicting the Bible when he says in Ecclesiastes 3, there's a time to kill? Is Solomon violating thou shalt not kill? Or does that law mean something else? You have to look fully into it and see why the person that the Most High said, I spoke to him face to face, Solomon, I did. And Solomon is saying, but there's a time to kill. I know what the Lord told you, don't kill, but then there's a time to kill. It would have to be because it's called war. You ever been in a war and nobody get killed?
Card game.
He said a card game.
A card game.
I declare
well,
war.
they pocket got killed with some gambling. Pockets dead and flat. Go ahead, bro. Read
Verse 8. And after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hands, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he told not them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion.
See, because what is mother gonna think? Well, I kept myself pure while I was having you. Now you eating honey out of a dead lion? Boy, is you crazy. But this thing again is from the Lord, y'all. We have to understand when this permissive will is working against the law so that you can be able to tell the naysayer, no, the Lord is not directing Samson to break his own law. It's wartime. So we're going to deal with Deuteronomy 7 and 6 from the perspective of Deuteronomy 21 and 10. That's how we got to look at that law for this particular event. Not general overall. Man, this is an event that's going on, like bro said. It's for a specific time. It's a dispensation that's happening in this time because ain't nothing we can do because it says, and the thing was from the law.
Right.
Did I put that in there?
Nope.
Or somebody got to answer why it says this thing was from the law.
Right.
Give us the answer and we'll teach different.
Right. That's the key that sums it up right there. There's nothing else to be said. It may seem like everything is all wrong, but you always have to, it was from the Lord. There's a reason why. That's right. A reason why.
And not only that, but the second one, well, we just jumped to chapter 16. If you want to, you can hold that and jump to 16.
Okay.
Yeah, 16 and ride it out.
See in the class? Though?
Yeah.
That time? Okay.
No, I mean, you can read all of that. That's a long chapter. That's a long chapter.
Oh, well, there was one little part I did want to see here.
15?
Yeah. No. There's some in 14 I wanted to show here.
Okay. Get back to 14, y'all.
I'll read on through.
Okay.
And y'all see what I want to show. I'm at 10. So his father went down into the woman, and Samson made there a feast, and so used the young men to do. And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions with them to be with him.
It's something very important. In verse 10, it said his daddy went on and got the wedding together, like he's supposed to, paid for it. He set the feast up. So they are doing the thing. Now look, his father didn't agree with him. So for once he knew the law, now he's the one preparing the feast for his son to be married. This is Samson's dad. Even though he knew the law, is this law continually being broken? How are we going to explain this to an Egyptologist or a Buddhist? And we're talking about Deuteronomy 7 and 6. So now is his father and his mother in on breaking that law? Or is it something else?
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12. And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can certainly declare it me within the 7 days of the feast and find it out, I will give you 30 sheets and 30 changes of garments.
See, and the feast was 7 days, the same 7 days that Jacob had with Rachel. A feast was always, or the honeymoon lasted for 7 days, y'all. See, we go a weekend, or most people, if they go out of town, they fly somewhere, we're going for our honeymoon, they'll be back in 7 days. But you have to take 1 whole week off you were supposed to be with your bride. Even if a man of war, he's supposed to take 1 week off to be with his bride. Before he go to war, I should say. Any man that was in the army, wife just got married, they can't just send you to the woman. You got to get to know her. And I mean know her well. You got 7 days. You got 6 days and 23 hours. Get going.
He said, know her well.
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
If ye cannot declare it me, then shall ye give me 30 sheets and 30 changes of garment. And they said unto him, put forth thy riddle that we may hear it. And he said unto them, out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson's wife,
Unto Samson's what?
unto Samson's wife,
Uh-huh.
entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have ye called us to take that we have? Is it not so? So they're saying to her,
Yeah.
you set us up.
Set Samson up.
No, set them up. That's why they need her to get the answer to the riddle, because remember, they were invited to the feast.
Right, right,
He's in a strange land.
Right.
These are her people.
right. But
And
they
so
gonna
he-
burn her people up.
Yeah, they say, you the one that set us up with this. You either get us the answer to that riddle, or we're going to kill you and your family.
Right,
Because it looked like you did this on purpose.
right,
Right.
right.
No, we're
right,
talking to her.
right.
Talk to his wife. I'll start right where it said that again.
Being of their people.
Right. And it
Right.
says, and it came to pass on the seventh day that they said unto Samson's wife, entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have ye not called us to take that we have? Is it not so? And Samson's wife wept before him and said, thou dost but hate me, and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people.
Yes, sir. The children of who?
Of her people.
Is this violation of Deuteronomy 7:6? Or is this Deuteronomy 21:10? Where we at? Let's read
Right.
them up.
And has not told it me. And he said unto her, behold, I have not told it my father or my mother, or shall I tell it thee? 17. And she wept before him in the 7 days while their feast lasted. Now, how can y'all have a feast and all this unhappiness is
Yeah.
going on?
7
She
days.
crying, she after him for 7 days. They worried for 7 days because they don't have the answer. He's the only one kicking it.
Right, and she
It's
and
a feast.
She, right, and she don't get the answer. Her people dying.
Right.
All her family members, her father, mother, and brothers and sisters gonna die. So that's what they said. We're gonna kill your family unless you get them answers for us. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 18.
Uh-huh.
And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down, what is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, if ye had not plowed with my heifer,
With my what?
with my heifer,
Uh-huh.
ye had not found out my riddle. That's why I wanted to read
Right.
that.
Right, yeah.
Who was the people that call each other these things?
Right.
You plowed my heifer. We read, you see in that, right, with my heifer.
Yeah.
Not plowed my heifer.
Yeah.
But you see,
Right.
like in that Isaiah chapter 3, there's a terminology where the Most High talks about a people and he says that they're ill.
Right.
And what's the term that we used a few years back? You still hear it somewhere. Y'all ill.
I had it on my plate.
That's right. Y'all ill.
Right.
And right now we see that our people, our women call each other what? To this day, heifers. Heifer, didn't I tell you? You know, my mother called my sisters that. So I see this in the scripture. So now let's finish on. For if ye had not plowed at my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon and slew 30 men of them.
What'd he do?
He slew 30 men of them
Uh-huh.
and took their spoil and gave change of garments unto them which expounded the riddle. And after his anger was kindled, he went up to his father's house. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend. So what y'all see right here is that they got the answer out of Samson's wife for the answer, so they wouldn't have to pay up, right?
Right.
But look at he went down. That's like going over to East St. Louis. He's not from there. He's not from there. He's from someplace else. So he went to the neighboring city of their people and slew 30 of them and took
Right.
their stuff. You ain't getting this money up out of me.
Right.
He paid them off with their own people's stuff.
Yes.
He just left and went somewhere else and killed people and took their stuff and brought that back as payment. It still didn't come out of his pocket.
Now again, like I say, number 6 chapter is the law on the Nazarite. Is Samson breaking this law, slaying 30 people and grabbing their garments? So he's getting physical with this dead body, is he not? So a law of the Nazarite, you can't come near a dead body. You got to start over. So there's a permissive will of that law of number 6 going on here. Yo, and it comes back again because of Israel evil doing. Some things have to be done that may seem evil to get you out of your bad work. Just like you started off with looking at the serpent in the wilderness. We're not to look up to serpents, but because of your bad behavior, I have to give you what you asked for. Just like the king he spoke about. Y'all want king like that nation, y'all got the king of the universe. But I'll give you what you asked for. Like your parents do, okay, keep on asking. I'm gonna give you what you're asking for. And usually it's a good whooping if that's what you do. You're like, I'm gonna ask him for this.
Right.
But I guess if I kept still going in your purse, I'm losing.
You was asking for it all along, and I gave you what you needed. We're gonna go down to 16. This is gonna be the last chapter. Zeb gonna read it. 16 is the last chapter of the class, and our closing time will be 42. Yes, the judges. Yeah.
Skip it. Y'all really read 15 in your own time. The only reason I'm saying we got to do a little talk about some feast days. We got a couple of them coming up back to back, and so we need to get that on. But we'll just get right into 16. Y'all read chapter 15 because that's very important too. You're gonna see some things, and then what I want y'all to do is get the handle on law. Read Numbers 6th chapter and understand the law of the Nazarite, and then see what Samson is doing, and see if the Lord is allowing Samson to break his own law or his own rules, or is something else at play here.
Right.
Because there was a wedding feast for 7 days with a woman outside of Israel.
Right.
And it said the thing was from the Lord. Now, the Lord violating his own law in Deuteronomy 7. It's just like Exodus 18. Moses wrote Deuteronomy 7, but you got Exodus 18, the whole chapter. There has to be an explanation of Exodus 18, and Moses wrote the same Deuteronomy 7, 3 through 6. Mm-hmm. You have to be ready to answer that, not for Israel, but for the naysayers who will go up against our God and say that book is full of contradiction. Everyone, I'm right here, he say don't do it. Next breath, he doing it. Y'all guys are flip-floppers.
There goes the keep reading rule.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro. 16, yeah, we close out.
Book of Judges, chapter 16, verse 1.
Uh-oh, boy.
Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her.
Is Samson crazy? Now, he's a Nazarite. Supposed to be pure of all these things.
Right.
And here he's back at work again.
Yeah.
See, but y'all need to read 15 because he was putting in a little work. You know, slaying with the jawbone of the ass, scrapping really good. You know, but right back again, he right back to where he told, don't get into that. You got to be a warrior. You need all your strength for now. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 2. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all night, saying, in the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. And Samson lay till midnight, and arose midnight, and took the doors of the gate of the city, and post, and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of an hill. That is before Hebron. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah.
See, this was the wrong mission for Samson because he couldn't get it together. Samson wanted to be a lover instead of a fighter.
Michael Sampson?
Yeah, so So this was the difference in Samson's mindset when he was grown from the womb to do for Israel. Go ahead, brother.
And the Lord of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, entice him and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. And we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver.
1,100 pieces of silver. Now you do silver back in them days, or compare it to what silver is today. Each one of them gave her 1,100 pieces. Each one of them gave her 1,100 pieces. So y'all, you come out, entice him. This was her sole mission. So once again, it could be doubling back around Deuteronomy, because things happen and they will force you to worship their gods and do different things. So it's coming full circle, but you got to still at least and ask yourself, why would the Lord take Samson through all of this? Why would he just make his mind? Because the Lord does not put us in robot mode. You have what's called free will. And that means you're going to live or die. Either you're going to be obedient or you're going to be disobedient.
Right.
That's all it comes down to. Go ahead, brother.
And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee.
Where's your Achilles heel?
Right.
And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs, which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto them, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the withs, as a thread of tow is broken when it touches the fire. So his strength was not known.
So he just busts right through that. You know, Incredible Hulk move, like you say. And she like, oh, he lying to me. He ain't gonna tell the secret. Go ahead.
And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound.
See, now she talking about he mocking her, but she setting him up for the pay. This murder for her.
Right. Premeditated.
Premeditated, but she's crying, but because she didn't found, they know the soft spot. It's the same move the enemy always brings in. Right. It's the exact same move Satan been using since the garden. He know Israel. He know the men of that stock. Because you know why? Because the very first sin on earth was fornication. So Satan keep using what got it going. If I keep fornication going, then I keep staying out of the lake of fire. So every time y'all get close to y'all God, I bring you fornication. Just like when Moses come off the mount for 40 days, he read that they was down there partying. The Lord said, Moses, this is a soul train line going on down there. He like, no, Lord, they hollering your name. He like, no. Them hollers ain't for me. Them hollers from somebody else. Them hollers of ecstasy. So at that point, Moses had to go down, ground up that thing, through the tablets in there, and they had to drink that golden calf, just like the same thing. You gonna drink your parts. Yep. Go ahead.
If y'all remember where he went back in that Deuteronomy 7 and 10, it was out of order. It said if you desired her first.
Yeah.
So you done already undressed her. You desired her. You had a sexual desire towards her. But there was a process.
Right.
It said desired before marriage.
Yeah.
You see that? It said desire. If you desire her, then this is the process that you go through, that you get to the right way. We're going to let your desire be, what's the word? Expounded on, but you got to get it in the right way.
That's right.
We see the desire first before marriage. You looked at her. I want that. But there was a process for that.
30 days.
There it is. Couldn't wait though. Let's go.
Can't wait 30 days. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And he said unto her, if they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, the Philistine be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait, abiding in the chamber, and he broke them from off his arms like a thread.
Now listen to this. Now y'all, Samson ended up with his woman, and they up under the bed. Hey, they hearing all the intimate things. They up in the closet and under the bed. See how this level of fornication is going? This at these peeping toms now. Because Samson ain't talking about nothing. Samson trying to get with Delilah. And they hiding under the bed and in the closet.
Like right after the first time, and he saw that she had been there, why did he stay and finish? Oh, come on, girl. That's
What you mean, why?
Why? Love struck.
He seen them swivel on them hips. That's what it is.
Right, just ate up.
Look, sister, you the sister.
Right.
30 minutes at a time. When she.
Well, see, they wouldn't attack until he did it. See, when he snapped and she just said they're upon you, so they was waiting until to see if he gonna keep struggling. And they weren't gonna break loose. But when he snapped them like this, they stayed in the closet. Hold fast up under the bed. And then she just kept going at him till finally he did it. Like if you look at this show on now called For My Man. And it's about women that kill for their man. And they get conditioned to keep doing things that they know ain't right, but they don't know that love is that strong. His love and desire was way past that it was supposed to be to get inside to take the Philistines down. Samson is falling in love. Yeah. And Samson is revealing things he ought not, because he ain't got into court. He don't know what's going on. All he know is he see the finest women and he got to have it. Because he's Samson, he's strong, yeah. Everybody know about him. Ain't nobody gonna run up on him. They scared to death to run up on him.
Y'all picture Pee Wee Herman and Debo.
Yeah. Right.
And Samson making Debo look like Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
Is what I mean by that.
So he's so powerful that they got to get him, and the only way we can get him is the way we got at him. And that's through his woman.
His woman.
It's the way in, y'all. It's the way in. This is why you have to be extra careful and understand the process of the head of the household. Right. Meaning there's 50% for a woman to do when you list all her rules, and there's 50% for the man to do, but that would make it roommates. That's why there has to be a head of household. He gets 51% in the well-being of the household. She cannot exceed 49. There has to be a head of household, or your roommates. Your duties are 50-50, but the final say, when you get into the Numbers, the 30th chapter, the whole chapter, you have to read it all the way through. It deals with the daughters too, and your mother, if she become a widow and come back to your house. So you understand it perfectly what it's talking about inside of the house. And Samson was void of this. His mind was gone. That Philistine woman was putting it on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But isn't this what we've been seeing all along? We have the men that are going out and they are, give an example, football players.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's,
yeah.
They have money.
Yeah.
And as soon as the other camp sees that they're wealthy, they won't touch them unless they have money.
Yeah, right.
And when they have money, then they
send them Kardashians on.
Yeah. And then afterwards, they have no money left.
Yeah.
Then they leave them
for another.
Worse off than what they were.
Yeah,
Because you don't have the Lord in the first place.
It-
If you had the Lord in the first place, it wouldn't be.
But it just shows you temple prostitution, and they give them all instructions before they go out into the world. They tell y'all, the women are coming after you. They're gonna be after you, they're coming after your money. But for somehow the men get in their mind that I must be the finest thing before Denzel.
No.
And there they go, and get took. But y'all, we're gonna speed this up because we gotta get on out of here. I wanna talk to y'all about the Passover as well. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with the pin and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awakened out of his sleep and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee?
You don't love me, Samson. You keep lying to me. You keep lying. But you an extortionist. You plot murder, and you sitting here crying and weeping, and he falling for it. Go ahead, bro.
And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thy heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me with these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lies. It came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, there has not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto Yahweh from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he told her all his heart, she went and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he has showed me all his heart.
He has showed me his connection with the Lord. He's finally revealed to me him and his Lord's connection for his power. He done told it to me. He done let his guards down. I got it.
He didn't so-called drop his drawers.
I got it. Go ahead.
Then the lords of the Philistine came up unto her and brought money in their hand.
What they bring?
Money. And she made him sleep upon her knees.
Uh-oh. There he is, laying in her lap. Rubbing his head. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, Samson. Go on to sleep. And he just cuffed him. Snoring like Rip Van Negro. Go ahead, boy.
And she made him to sleep upon her knees. And she called for a man. And she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him. And his strength went from him.
Hold on, right there, it said, she began to afflict him. There's a reason. Keep reading.
And his strength went from him. And she said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as the other times before and shake myself. And he wist not that the Elohim was departed from him.
So you see something very first. He said, I'll just shake this on off. I'll shake like I do it every time. You know, get ready.
Right.
Just shake it off and get ready. You're like, oh, that strength back with him. But this again lets you know you have no control over the Holy Spirit. Like how you see Pentecostals can call it at wind. Coming in 100, coming in 100. Just can start speaking. You know how people just just out the blue. You don't have power or control over it like that.
Like Esther, how it's high glory.
Yeah, when it hits you, you don't even know you got it. It manifests itself in a time of belief and faith so that you like, oh, he with me. See, because if you don't, you'll pick fights that you shouldn't, because you know the Most High got your spirit with me. Hey, you bunch of niggas over there, what y'all doing? Yeah, I said it. No, you can't tempt the Lord like that. You would know that the Lord is with you if they came to attack you, and you standing there, and it's a whole bunch of them laying on the ground, like you Kung Fu Joe.
Right.
So that's the difference. Same way with Saul, he didn't know the Lord had left him, but for his disobedience, he kept going, and you're trying to get it back. Y'all, so one thing you don't ever want to do is just have the Lord to leave you.
That's right.
And he ain't answering your calls, he ain't answering your word. It's a long, dark night.
It's gonna be cold.
Go ahead, bro.
But you hold on real quick though. When you saw that, it said that she began to afflict them. She had to test them like that.
Yeah,
You know,
she did.
because
Yeah.
the other ones were hiding under the bed and they came on them too soon. He
Yeah.
broke them bands that they still hid. So she kept afflicting them.
Yeah.
Samson.
Yeah.
They waited.
Yeah.
She made sure it worked this
Right.
time. This time she made sure it worked before she called them.
He
That they
thinks
gon-
she
that-
waking them
that
up
they
for-
gonna get them.
Right, she thinks she waking him up for round two. What's up, baby? No, the Philistines on. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 21. But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes
Ooh.
and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with fetters of brass. And he did grind in prison, in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. Then the lords of the Philistine gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon, their God, and to rejoice. And they said, our God hath delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands.
See, and this broke the law of what the Most High had as a permissive will to take down on the inside. Samson was breaking law after law after law after law after law. But the Most High said, tribulation and anguish to the who first?
The Jew first.
And then the Gentiles. So at this point, Samson is getting punished basically for breaking every law of his vow because he was instructed well what his mission was. He just fell off the wagon and fell into love sickness. And it's like that second Ezra chapter 3, which is the greatest. The king, women, or wine.
Right.
But we find out truth is more important. But it said the woman was stronger than the king and the wine. It said she took the crown off your head and slapped you across the jaw. You just, what'd you do that for, baby?
In front of all my partners.
You the king. You the king. We know what Herod did, cut John the Baptist's head off. Lusting after his niece.
Swivel hips.
Yeah. Cut his head off because he promised to give half the kingdom if she danced for him again. So this fornication is eating us alive, and the Most High said in the last days it's going to be a sinful and adulterous generation. Y'all, we ain't seen nothing yet. And we see this was for Dagon, their god of the Philistines. They captured Samson. And this is what he means in Deuteronomy 7 and 6 when he say, don't go into them because they're going to have you chasing their God. In the end of it, stick to the plan. So was the plan to get a wife before or after? Because we still have to answer. And this thing was from the Lord with that first wife.
There it is.
That first wife was the one he was supposed to holler at to get inside because she was the one that really trusted him and knew what he was about. But the Philistines told him, we're going to kill your whole family. You better entice him for it, or all y'all die. He ain't of our people. This a Hebrew.
Right.
But it was his wife. And that's why that first one was the inside one to get him in, to do that. But once that happened, he just started grabbing them like cakewalk.
See, they do you the same way that the difference between St. Louis and East St. Louis. Negroes in East St. Louis call St. Louis Jimmies.
Yeah.
And you automatically marked that that's a Jimmy.
Right.
That means you from St. Louis.
Y'all know what Jimmy mean? Remember that song about Martha and Vandal? Jimmy, man. Oh, he was a suave, cool dude. Slacks and gators on.
It makes sense.
Jimmy.
It makes sense.
Right.
We on this side of the bridge.
Right.
All the
Going over
clubs
there,
over there.
slick bottoms.
So we come over there to the club.
Right.
Jimmy man.
Jimmy, man.
Going over there,
Okay,
slick
so now I
bottoms.
got the origin of the name, the nickname. But the point is, the bottom line is he ain't of our people.
Right.
That nigga from across the bridge, he's
Yeah.
not one of us. That's
So to
it.
speak.
That's it though. But that's the distinction. They make a distinction. We don't distinguish them, they distinguish us. Okay, but the point he said here is that when he said he's not of our people. They had no compassion for Samson. They didn't care nothing about Samson. He ain't one of us.
Right.
But they Philistines, right? The point he's been making recently, same skin color.
Right.
Right.
Same skin color.
See, and people accept that because it's the same skin color. You know, the attack is on white, but this is an attack on the Philistine nation. They had no love for us. You see what they did? They put his eyes out.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they doing different from anything that's happening in this land? Then they put our eyes out?
And
Same
that,
way.
yeah, and that grinding that he was doing, he was in there working
Yeah.
on that millstone.
Yeah, he was.
Like they show you in the cartoons and all other stories, them grinding that big millstone.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing, grinding that millstone. And they say his hair began to grow back. So he was in there for a minute. He was in there for a minute. How long, but we don't know. But the fact is, he was in there for a minute. So he had time to think and grow his hair back and all that.
Read
And he
that,
black.
bro. It'll get you a read on that.
Go ahead.
Right.
Verse 24. And when the people saw him, they praised their God.
What they do?
They praised their God. For they said, our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said, call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison's house. And he said, and he made them sport. And they set him between the pillars.
And if y'all ever watch that movie, they'll show him making sport. The little midgets poking him in his rear end, and he comes in, who poked me there? And they pull his ear, and Three Stooges, the mole plucking him in them eyes, he couldn't see out. Who did that? Who the hell did that? And they just making mockery of him, just sport. If y'all ever see that movie, y'all be like, that's a shame. I mean, they was working on giving him wedges, he couldn't see. Go ahead, bro.
Badger skin wedges.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's the thing. Even today, I think, people don't realize that when they have that thing with the,
Going good?
We love you,
so even now, people don't realize that they're still worshiping that same fish god, which is Dagon,
Right.
through the Little Mermaid.
Yes, they
all those other little things, and they don't realize.
That's Dagon.
That's Dagon,
Excellent, excellent.
and we're still doing it today.
Still doing
Yes,
it today.
that's it.
Yeah, we
That's
are. Look, you think it's the fish got anything to do with the Messiah?
Right.
That ain't got nothing to do with the Messiah. Just like an Easter bunny ain't got nothing to do with the Passover.
Right.
That's something else. It's about fertility, God. And schools of fish. It's about multiplying. It's about fornication to their God. And how you prove it to their God, you have to get busy. Or Kelly is in trouble for that. Michael Jackson is in trouble for that. Because that's what Satan, right, even dead, that's what Satan requires that you get into to prove yourself. Every secret organization, the main thing they do, as soon as you initiate, they have an arch.
What do you all think Wheezy F. Bailey means when y'all hear Lil Wayne hollering at him? Wheezy F. Bailey.
Bailey?
He say Bailey, he say
Bailey.
baby.
Oh, I
It
thought
sounds
you
like
were
it's baby, but it sounds like it said Bailey.
No,
Yeah.
Baby, Weezy Baby.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna say, boy, that's a name of somebody else.
No,
No,
it means. I'm not saying what it means,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, what do you think it means
We know what it
when he
means.
say Wheezy F. Bailey? That's what that means.
It's okay. Yes. With okay, so I look at like a lot of the spandex that women wear today,
Right.
showing everything. So I'm just saying that
Right.
qualification that.
Well,
Worse in the last days.
Well, look, yeah, it's gonna be 10 times worse because your mind have to be set. If they walk by naked, it wouldn't even phase you because that's what the Pharisees said, Messiah. If he knew what type of women these were that around him, he would hurry up and send them away. But he wasn't concerned. To him, they were sinners, women that didn't know how to change their behavior and be a woman. So he said, a well man don't need a doctor. I come for the sick. I come for them type of women you talk about. But what the difference in me and you, they can't entice me like they gonna do you.
you saw all them guys walking around.
Oh, yeah. So, and like I'm saying, but the thing is, it don't matter what they have on. If it takes somebody to have on certain clothes for you to control yourself, you still got a problem.
Right. It ain't on them.
We supposed to spend our time passing through here.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
Flat
it
out.
shouldn't matter what a woman wearing. It shouldn't make you get naked. Because they walking half naked and then the camera spit on you and you butt naked.
Yeah, you got something else going on. You need to repent.
Because you're going to be put in those situations. You're going to constantly be put in those situations. And you have to know up here what to do and just say, yeah, put your clothes on.
There you go. There you go.
Help me, please.
There you go. There you go.
If you can't say that, it's like Job 31 chapter. All y'all read that for y'all time. Job made a covenant with his eyes. You know, so when y'all understand what Job did with his eyes, he said, if I even look at another woman sideways, then somebody else can have my wife and do whatever they want to do with it. And I tell you what, go and throw his partners in, they can grind too.
What?
If I go against the vow I made with my eyes not to look at a woman. You know, and most men, you know today what it is, they don't talk, they talk to you from behind. They want to see what's behind. They don't want to talk to you face to face. So their decision is made on flesh.
Turn around, let me say something to you.
Yeah.
Turn around, let me holler at you.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that they did in those days is that the way they dressed the women, same as what they do when you think that you're looking at these cartoons for the children, which are other gods.
Yeah.
They had a time when the women, and you can see them in Greek statues,
Yeah.
where the women wore nothing.
Right.
And the way they wore something, it was very revealing.
Yeah.
So it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same then as it is today.
And see, what y'all don't understand, stripping ain't just started in East St. Louis.
They perfected it though.
Well,
They always wore the evening gowns and more elegant, the supreme, i.e. supreme.
I heard.
Where it's not just like Beyonce performs today.
it's almost
They weren't
everything.
here, though.
Right. So, and you have to understand, that's another man's wife that your desire only see her sexual parts moving. And see, while you're listening to the song, the devil is more concerned on what's on your mind.
Right.
Do you want Jay-Z's wife? And though you're thinking about doing things to her that he should be doing or as he's doing, you're thinking that because they're out front now singing these type of things like that, y'all. So he's after your mind to get it corrupted up here first. And that'll be all you want to see, but that's going to be trouble for you. You can't have it. Go ahead, y'all. Let's finish this up. We're going to get on out of here.
Verse 26. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport.
So they was just like in a big arena, just like, you know, for a big fight night or something like that. Yeah. And they just making sport out of it. If you weren't blind, you would be fighting tigers and lions. They did that too. You have to fight them and they wouldn't feed the lions for 10, 11 days and then let them in there and you have to battle for your life, making sports. And they up in there cheering. So this same situation is happening. Go ahead.
And Samson called unto the Elohim and said, O Elohim, Yahweh, remember me, I pray thee. Remember me, I pray thee. And strengthen me, I pray thee. Only this once, O Yahweh, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my two eyes.
Right.
And Samson took hold of the two middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, and the one with his right hand, and the other with his left hand, with his left.
So Samson just got like these two big pillars right here, that's holding this second floor, this basement up from the second floor crashing down on us, but they were closer together and he had his hand stretched out like this, filling both of them. Now, this is the foundation of that building. Just like if a truck ripped them 2 pillars off, all y'all did in that center row with us too.
They call that a load-bearing
Yeah,
wall.
load-bearing wall, exactly. So he had his hand between the load-bearing walls. Go ahead, brother.
And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand, and of the other with his left. And Samson said, let me die with the Philistines.
Let him do what?
Let me die with the
See,
Philistines.
so he wasn't just wanting to avenge his eyes only. He said, look, I messed up.
I trip.
So, but I'm coming back to do what you asked me to do before all this ever happened.
Right.
I'm just hard-headed, so, I mean, I'll die with them to let you know I'm trying to do your will. And this is why he got ink in Hebrews 11 when it started talking about Samson. Even though he disobeyed, because the end of a man is better than the what?
The beginning.
The beginning. So it's how he ended his life doing what the Lord had asked to do, but it costs you if you be disobedient.
Yep.
It's a hard lesson to learn. It's like when you're praying, well, I'm glad you whooped me because I learned, because when I got out there in them streets, I found out the real deal.
Right.
What goes on out there in them streets.
And all your teachings came
They
back.
don't tuck you in at night out there. Don't read sweet lullabies out there in the street. It's rough. You go into the prodigal son status in Luke 15, and you don't want none of that. Go ahead, bro. Let's finish them last 2 verses, man.
And he bowed himself with all his might,
Uh-huh.
and the house fell upon the lords and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Estor, and in the burying place of Manoah, his father, and he judged Israel 20 years.
You see, it was beautiful how his father and his brothers, when they heard what happened, because you remember he was not there with them. He was in where Philistine people live.
Yeah.
So the fact that they went got his body,
Well, yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Went got his body and brought him back home.
Yeah.
And gave him a proper burial.
Gave a proper burial like we do. If you die in the penitentiary, they're going to let your people come get your body. Even though they had hold of it for life. But y'all, we see how Samson had to double back. Let me just make this quick announcement, y'all. Y'all know we got Purim coming up March 21st and 22nd at evening. We got the totes over here full of things that we're going to be giving away to the homeless. Sister DeBoer, yeah, that's the tote. Sister DeBoer, we'll meet down here. What time she say about? At 6, y'all. And we get down here, and what we're going to do is bag up all of the non-pearls, deodorant and toothpaste and things that they can use being out on the homeless. You know, being homeless, I should say. And we'll get all that bagged up. We'll separate it, get the crews together, and then that Friday night we'll hit the streets and deliver. But Purim also consists of, when you read in the book of Esther, that you give gifts to the poor, and mainly a meal, a good meal. Share a meal with somebody. Invite them over. Ask them whatever you want. I'm cooking for you today. If you can't do it that way, send Grubhub to them. Y'all hungry over there? What y'all want to eat? You know, but keep it in range what you can afford. If they say they want 3 steaks from Ruth's Chris, you're going to have some problems. Now, if they say we want the 2 for whatever the Applebee's, have it deliver it to them. That's another way of giving around this time, and that's what brothers reading in the book of Barnabas about giving to the poor. That's why you got to make sure you're able to work so you can give to the poor and your hand ain't always shaped like a cup. Because you're going to always be looking for somebody to put something in instead of you helping out. Eventually, you're going to have to start helping out with the poor. The Passover again, April 19th, y'all, Friday at evening, April 19th. So, y'all, we getting everything set up. Everything is good. We got location. For any of y'all out there in the Worldwide family that's attending the Passover, shoot me an email so I know and to look out for the payment that you'll be sending in so I can mark it on the list and get your names on the list. For everybody else here, that if you haven't got your Passover tickets, y'all, the cutoff is April the 8th. So because we need those 2 weeks to get prepared. So we got to have that time to go buy the food, get it all set up, and get prepared. Now, if you don't have it by the 10th, by the 8th, we understand that. I just need y'all to get on the list so we can make our count. Don't feel like we're saying, I ain't got the money, I ain't got it yet, and they go, no, get your name on the list. If you can't pick up the phone and call, then don't be coming around there on the 19th. Come on, what can I do? See, because we're opening the way up for you to get in there, y'all, because we don't want to price nobody out of the Passover, but we got to pay for that facility, and we got to start getting prepared for 300 plus people to show up at this Passover. And y'all, we don't want nobody feeling or turned away from this Passover, because everyone on the side did it, they took up baskets. It was always something left over. And y'all, that is a high holy day, so we will have class here the next day. And we'll pick up on day 2 of the Feast of Unleavened Bread that next Shabbat. So that's a high holy day because it goes right into the Shabbat. That makes that feast day a high holy day. So y'all, we want to be as respectful as we can. We want to rid our mind of leavening. We don't want to come in there with nothing on your mind. Ain't even should be the discussion about nothing but the sacrifice the Most High made for us and sending us his son to die for our transgression. And we ought to at least this time put everything else out of your mind, so to speak. With that, y'all, I'm good. You right? You want to close out on that?
No, I just thank y'all. Love y'all. Take the time to class.
And if any of y'all want to see me about the Passover after, just see me right after class.
All praise to the Most High, His only begotten Son.
Okay.
All praise. All right, y'all know the drill. We're gonna get this closed in prayer with the Most High's permission, in the name of His only beloved and begotten Son, our Redeemer, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Long live the King. Long live the King. Reading in the book of Psalms, the 42nd chapter, and it reads, "As the hart panteth after the water brook, so panteth my soul after thee, O Yah. My soul thirsteth for Yah, for the living Elohim. When shall I come and appear before Yah? My tears have been my meat day and night, while they were continually say unto me, where is thy God? When I remember these things, I pour out my soul in me, for I had gone with the multitude. I went with them to the house of Yah. That's right. With the voice of joy and praise, with a multitude that kept holy day. Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why art thou disquieted in me? Hope thou in Yah. That's right. For I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance. Yes, Lord. O my Elohim, my soul is cast down within me. Therefore will I remember thee from the land of Jordan and of the Hermonites, from the hill Mizar. Deep calleth unto deep at the noise of thy waterspouts. All thy waves and thy billows are gone over me. Yet the Most High will command his loving kindness in the daytime, and in the night his song shall be with me. That's right. And my prayer unto the power of my life. I will say unto Yah, my rock, why hast thou forgotten me? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? As with a sword in my bones, mine enemies reproach me. While they say daily unto me, where is thy God? Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why art thou disquieted within me? Hope thou in Yah, for I shall yet praise him. That's right. Who is the health of my countenance and my God. Hallelujah! Say that! Y'all got a shepherd to y'all. We greatly appreciate
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.